You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Welcome to the 59th edition of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. It's the 8th episode of Season 6. We are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quests with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everyone. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
And
Hello.
tonight, we got a whole slew of folks with us because there's all sorts of stuff going on in the Fallout universe right about now. So tonight, we have our normal co-host here, Ray. Hi, Ray.
You calling me normal?
No, well, absolutely not that, but you are a normal co-host. And hopefully Sarah said she'll be hopping on here in a little bit, and that'll be good to hear from her. She's experiencing some of the Nuka World stuff for the first time, so that's always fun to hear about. And so on the show tonight, Ray, we will do some fun stuff. Mark is joining us again. Hello, Mark. From where are you from? You're New Zealand way, right?
Christchurch, New Zealand.
Attaboy. Thanks for joining us again this week, Mark. Mark was joining us via automobile mobile phone last time, if I remember right. So thanks for coming back this week, Mark. It'll be good.
Thank you for having me.
Yep, it was your first time over in Nuka World, so we'll get into a lot of that fun stuff too. But I think we should maybe off the top of the show start with, since we have a couple other new fresh faces on the show. Well, Frater's been on a few times here. But Frater, you heard his voice just a second ago. Hi, Frater.
Hello.
How are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Very well, sir. You got a nice silky microphone. What kind of microphone do you use?
It's an Audio-Technica. There's no numbers on it, so I don't recall what brand.
It's really nice. You sound nice, buddy. I like your buttery voice, Frater. And also joining us this evening, and this might be your first time on the show, if I remember correctly. Welcome, Jess. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, Fallout Feed. Yeah, definitely my first time.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad to have you on. And the reason we have Frater and Jess on this evening is because even though we're going to be tiptoeing, we're going to be safe, we're going to be careful, but both of these folks were on the Fallout 76 stress test that happened last weekend, and they actually happened to find each other and ran around in the Appalachian wasteland a little bit. So I think that was a good opportunity to bring them on to discuss some of the things that they're allowed to discuss. There's plenty of stuff they're not allowed to, but see if we can talk about some of the stuff that they're allowed to, what they experience and all that. So, guys, why off the top of the show, why not we just initial impressions, Fallout 76 stress test? What did you guys think?
Better than I was expecting.
How so? Well, what were you expecting, and why was it better?
I thought it would crash every couple of minutes. It only crashed on me twice, I think, and that was in the last half of it. It went for 4 hours, right? So that's pretty good, really.
Yeah, it was solid. I was on 4 hours, only had 2 crashes myself, and most of them were in the last hour. So I feel like they might have been tweaking settings, more people logging on as the day went on. They got their download finished. Yeah, it ran pretty well.
That's pretty awesome. See, I was one of those jerks who was messing up your good time by trying to download it really quickly. I was booking it home from vacation on that day, and I started the download going, and I was like, oh man, it's going to take a little bit. I'm going to go out and mow the grass here real quick. So I set it up and downloaded. I started to go outside and mow the grass, and I come back in, and my Xbox had gone to sleep. I'm like, what the fuck? Is that not enough activity for it to keep it awake to download? Why would it go to sleep in the middle of a download? That infuriated me. So by the time I was done, it probably wasted 2 or 3 hours of time it could have been downloading. So you know what happened? Of course, about 5 minutes before the event ended, the download finished, and I tried to log in, and it was like, nope, no luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw during the test once or twice you were actually logged in and playing on Fallout 4, as usual. So I wasn't sure if maybe you were in the test and it was showing Fallout 4 at the time, and they were just being sneaky. But no, I found out you weren't in there at all.
Yeah, I was playing Fallout 4, doing my quests, searching for my Cappy, and then popping back in to see how the download was doing every once in a while. You know what I mean?
I did notice while I was playing with you, Jess, that your status on Xbox Live said that you were at your the home screen. It didn't actually show that you were playing Fallout 76, except through the game. What do you call the friends screen in the actual game? So I'm guessing it probably hides when you're playing these closed betas.
Sneaky Xbox. I didn't realize. That's awesome. I didn't get a chance to look.
All right, so let's get into some detail. You guys, what are you allowed to discuss? What aren't you allowed to discuss? That you said stuff that's already been appeared on like Gopher's videos and all the public videos and stuff. So why don't we go ahead and comment on that sort of thing? Like, there's questions out there about, I don't know if you're allowed to answer these questions, like pausing. How does pausing work? How does can you load multiple characters? What's the load menu like? Just sort of that general structure. The front menu. What is this sort of stuff going to look like?
Okay, do you want to take that, Freighter, or?
You go ahead.
Okay, great. Okay, so I posted a little bit on the Facebook group about pausing. So because it's a live game with other players, obviously, as expected, you can't really pause. You open up your Pip-Boy, the world still moves around you. You need to go AFK, the world still moves around you. So you can't pause that way. Obviously, it will, save the location. So if you log out and back in, you'll remember where you are. So yeah, no pause system at all. One cool thing, and when we're talking about this, the way I look at it is, we've probably watched, all of us, 20, 30 hours of video from the Greenbrier event and all that. So there's plenty of stuff we can talk about.
Well, talk about it. What are you excited about? What did you experience? What did you like?
Well, here's one cool thing, because we talked a lot about servers. Like, that's always been part of the speculation. What are they going to do about private servers? So we know that's for the future, but part of that is because we want to play with our friends. And so in the group and on previous podcast, we've said, well, when you join, you have to be in a party of 4. That'll get you on the same server. Maybe we can break up that party, add another. One thing I found out from Bethesda dev on Reddit about a week ago, and was confirmed while in the game, is that on the title screen there's a social section. If you go there, you can see people you've played with recently, and you can also see your friends, whether or not you're in a party with them. If you click on that and go to join, you can actually load into the same server as someone else, even if you're not in a party.
Okay, you found Freighter, or Freighter found you. How did that happen?
I was looking at the same screen she just mentioned, and her name was the only one that was under the section for my friends list, so I clicked on it, and it gave me the option to jump to her, which I thought would be great, but instead of actually taking me directly to where she was, which was close to the exit from the vault, instead what happened is it drops you into a particular area. So I still had another 5 minutes of walking before I actually figured out where she was.
Yeah, and we saw that several times in the game. When he initially found me, I had just exited the vault, and I was looking around, and then boom, there's Freighter. So, we jumped around. We tried to communicate, but there's no real chat in game besides headset. So we found the join up button, and that's when we joined as a team. But a few times while playing, and especially towards the end, we got separated. And when you try to travel to each other, it seems like you just go to the edge of a cell, And I saw this in other footage too, where people were playing, like someone might get really far on the map, if you watch some of the YouTube videos, and then suddenly a lot of their other party would pop up and meet them, but never right next to them, usually on the edge of probably a cell, I would assume.
So if 2 or 3 party members jump to one person, will those 2 or 3 party members jump to the same area, or will they also be spread out equidistant from that person?
I think that depends where you're coming from. Like if they were together, I assume they would stay together.
Stay together instead of be separated when you show up. Interesting. How about the paper bags of junk?
There were lots of those.
Yeah.
How's this gonna work?
Well, obviously, when you die, all your junk goes in a paper bag. We've seen that in gameplay, and then when you come back, you'll have a small quest, and on the tracking bar, there's the little skull and crossbones area, so you can run to it and recover your junk. But it also looks like if you drop things in the game, like if you have a bunch of stuff you're getting overburdened, if you drop it, that's going to show up as a paper bag as well, not just as an item in game. So that's where some of the paper bags came from, I think.
And you said that you could see other people's paper bags. So if I drop my shit, can someone fuck with it?
That's my assumption. I was able to look in other paper bags, but I didn't try taking the stuff, so I don't know.
I never tried that, so I'm not sure. Any of these things are things that they could change before the final release, too.
Exactly, yeah. This is stuff I didn't see on any videos of people doing that. Other new systems I thought would be cool to mention, the outfit system. You've probably heard about that, right? That it's kind of more like some of the mods that have come out for Fallout 4, where you can do layers, where it's not just what you're wearing is what you see, but you can put on an outfit over top, and so you can choose your outfit separate from your armor or have it show.
I don't know how that's looked in game specifically, but when I saw someone put like something that looked similar to like the casual outfit over armor, it looked like they're wearing catcher's gear or something. It's really weird.
It's probably not perfect.
It's really strange, but I like that because then I'll be able to get my +1 perception and intelligence or whatever from my clothes, and then put on the armor on top of that. That'll be
I think that's the point. Yeah.
And I'm not sure about that. I mean, in any of the videos I saw, I didn't see anyone getting stuff with bonuses to special on them. It's probably going to be out there. But actually, that's probably a good time to talk about bobbleheads, Frater, because you got a bobblehead.
Nice.
Yeah, I found the energy weapons bobblehead. I tried to show it to you, but my mic wasn't working, and I'm like pointing and pointing my gun, and it's kind of hard to communicate those kind of things.
I was just gonna say, how are we going to communicate if sans microphone? You know what I mean? Like there's that wheel, right?
Yes, the wheel of emotes.
I didn't even find that until after. I had to ask Jess how to do that. I felt pretty dumb though, because it is obvious, right? It's the D-pad.
I assume it's like New Vegas, right?
It's similar.
Ish, yeah. Such as we saw, it reminded more of like Mass Effect's weapon wheel or power wheel. But you push down on the D-pad and you get a wheel to choose from. And it's probably about 10 to 12 around the edge. I'm hearing the echo.
Oh, there's an echo. I'll hop off and hop back on. You guys go ahead and talk about more 76. I'll be right back.
So I'm curious with do you share loot amongst creatures and stuff like that, or is it individual per player?
I think that might be leveled.
And it seems to be individual per player. Like if your group felt something and you grab it, they can also grab it. If you find a chest together, you can grab something out of it. They'll have their own items out of it. But anything that's physical in the real world, i.e. not in a container, there's only one of those. So if Frater grabs a bobblehead, no bobblehead for Jess. It might reappear and respawn later in another area.
Wait, if he picked up the energy bobblehead, that prevents you from picking up the energy bobblehead?
Yes, sir. That is what I'm saying.
Okay, how about then? Okay, so my brain just went crazy for a second. I jumped to charisma card. Sharing that, can I pick up the energy weapon bobblehead and then use my charisma card to share that, or can you only share cards? You know what I mean?
I think you can share anything.
I don't know. Bobbleheads are also the thing that I wanted to mention was that they're limited time use. So it's a usable item. It's not now you have a bobblehead for your collection. It's you click a bobblehead currently and you get an hour or two of a special bonus or a 20% melee bonus with the melee bobblehead, things like that.
Like a magazine from Fallout, was that 3 that had the magazines that was temporary, or was that New Vegas? I don't remember.
That was 3. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. So seems like they're taking some good aspects from lots of old games and bringing that sort of stuff back, and taking the good ideas from 4 and bringing those in, and just sort of taking lots of Fallout mechanics from past games too. It's kind of
They brought back weapon and armor degradation too.
Yeah, and fucking ammunition weighs something. God damn it!
It's not much, but yeah, it's there.
I was looking, Ray. We'll get into the little card character thing in a little bit, but I was looking at it and I was going through the strength cards, and I was just like, "Oh, nice! Look at all these cool like punching and cool ones." And then one was like ammunition weighs less, and I was like, "Oh no!" It like dawned on me that it's gonna go against my carry weight now. I was like, "Fuck, worst."
Well, let me just say, I didn't even notice that they had any weight, so it probably doesn't weigh that much.
Oh, nice. Good, good. Am I going to be allowed to have a robot follower since robots are everything in the game, all of your interactions and vendors and stuff?
I didn't see any robots that I could really do anything like that with. There were only a couple working that I found.
Yeah, at best there were some videos where I saw people have robot allies in, certain events where they were working with, but I don't know that they would ever follow them outside the event radius.
Did you find vendors? Robot vendors?
Yeah, there were a couple. There was a super mutant vendor too.
Did he like sell you something and then crack you in the face, or
No, he was quite polite.
must have been one of those Virgil guys?
Erickson.
Yeah. Solid dude.
Not so well spoken, but it was nice.
Ray, what questions do you have about 76?
I think most of my questions I've seen, taken care of in the videos. Did you guys get a chance to build anything?
Oh yeah,
I started to, and that's right when I noticed Jess was in the area, so I just scrapped that and forgot about it after. So I honestly don't know much about it. I do know that once you put down your camp or whatever you call that machine, it costs caps to move it.
Yeah, so you kind of set up a home base. Interestingly enough, you can see each other's camps on the map in your team. So for instance, I knew where Freighter's camp was located, and I might have been able to warp to it, I don't know. I set up my own camp. I spent probably the last hour of the game building because it's one of my favorite things. One thing I saw, you probably will have to work to build up a good supply of resources first, because there isn't, how in the game when you're playing in Fallout 4, for instance, you're getting drunk over time, you're throwing it in a workbench, breaking it down. Here you can break down a crafting table so it weighs less, and you can throw it in your stash, or you can use your camp as a stash and throw it in there. So it will build up, but in order to get a decent base of operations to even start, because there's no infrastructure when you throw down your camp, you really probably ought to wait a little bit to expect to set up a good base.
They were making a big distinction between camps and settlements and taking over settlement. Like camp's something you build and you can move around and have your blueprint. Settlement is a place a little more permanent that you can like take over and defend resources and stuff. Did you guys experience any of the larger settlement thing that they were talking about?
I saw some people doing that, and I just went the other way. I thought that seemed kind of boring.
Did they allow the nukes to go off?
Oh, no, we haven't seen that. Anything that we saw from that would have been online footage that y'all have seen as well.
Yeah, okay. Great. Well, what else? Do you have anything else that you'd like to mention about 76?
I definitely do, actually. I just want to say that with my time in there, well, we don't want to do any spoilers or anything, and that would not be, that would be against the NDA. It is much more Fallout than maybe I had even worried about, even though I was hopeful for it. It really felt that 75-80% Fallout that you expected. If you want to take your time and read notes, go through the logs, I definitely got that feel. I felt like I could play solo, progress solo, really enjoy it, and really unravel a mystery. So, I could go homestead to homestead and slowly explore the world.
So we've heard that the main story is the overseer has left the vault and you're kind of, I don't know, not following, but the storyline has something to do with following the overseer or something like that. Did you guys try to do that at all, or did you see any stories? Did you see how the single player unfolded at all?
I did that for probably the first hour. And yeah, there's quite a few. It's like a trail of breadcrumbs. You go here, and she'll give you the camp machine, and you go there, and you get a bunch of equipment. And yeah, you can do quite a bit of that. I have no idea how long it would have gone for.
Yeah, Freighter made it about as far as I did in 3 hours in the first hour before he met me. So he came back and kind of joined me for, wasted about an hour and a half of his time in some ways, but I appreciated the company while we went through things.
That's really great. The menus and stuff. Cool. Is it going to change a lot probably from what you saw, I would imagine. What'll be the difference between this stress test that you guys just did and the beta that'll launch in like 4 days from now?
You know, I don't have a magic 8-ball, so my sources are unclear. But talking about the menus, the Pip-Boy looks really good. And you probably saw that there are 2 different menus you can use. There's the clear see-through menu versus the Pip-Boy menu.
Yeah.
And the great thing about the clear menu is that it snaps up immediately. So because there's no pause, instead of having to go through the Pip-Boy raise animation when you're desperate for those stim packs, it might be a little bit easier to use the heads-up menu.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be faster.
So you can see something that's about to bash you in the face and drop that Pip-Boy as fast as possible. Yeah, that's awesome. Sweet. Yeah. So beta drops in just a few days for Xbox folks. And what is it? It's just a week after for everyone else, right?
Yeah.
Yep. 23rd for Xbox, 30th for PlayStation and PC. You know, originally we thought there might be a second stress test for Xbox, but it looks like that isn't going to happen. But hey, maybe there'll be one for PlayStation or PC. Who knows?
That's enough. Yeah. I was looking at the app, and the way it was worded, even though it was like, oh, sorry, you missed your chance, but check back later, and we're da-da-da-da-da. I don't know, but something about the way it was worded gave the impression that, oh, you'll do this again. So I thought they were going to do it this weekend, but
I don't think they are, because Xbox automatically updates games in the background, and I noticed that my file size went from 40 gigs down to 100 megabytes.
It disappeared.
Yeah.
I noticed I had more space on my Xbox today too. Sweet. Right on. That's really great, guys. I'm glad you got a chance to hop into it and report back. So, in general, thumbs up, I'm assuming? Thumbs down? Excited?
Definitely thumbs up.
Big ol' Vault Boy thumbs up. Absolutely.
Wonderful. So I'm excited to hop into it too. Hopefully on Tuesday evening. If it doesn't take another 4 hours to download. Great. While we were discussing everything, Sarah hopped into the show, and I was just going to take a second to welcome Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
What is going on? How are you doing?
Not much. Doing good. Doing good.
Great. I was just going to ask Sarah or Mark, did you guys have any questions about 76 that you wanted to ask before we moved on to our quest for the evening?
I had kind of the same trepidation about it, like, you know, how Fallout is it going to be? Is it going to feel like the games? And every new bit of information I get just makes me feel more happy about it. So I am nervous and anxious and super excited. But I don't get to play, you know, I'm getting it on PC, so I don't get to play until later.
Game bed.
I'm in my game bed right now, you guys.
Greatest place on earth.
It is the greatest place on earth. It makes me so happy.
Well, wonderful. Sounds good.
Jess, did you get attacked at all during the beta?
Attacked at all?
By real people?
PvP?
Oh no, there was no PvP. I got hit once, but nothing came of it. I didn't acknowledge it, and I think it was a stray bullet because it was when there were a bunch of things flying around us.
I got attacked once by a guy. All he had was a pipe revolver, I think. Like a smaller, not very powerful gun. And the damage we do to each other until you accept a fight seems to be very stunted. It's very, very little. So I just kind of stood there looking at him. Like, really, buddy? And after a while, it just gave me a cap bonus for being a good sport. And up came the pit boy with his thumbs up. And then I walked away, and that was the end of it. He didn't really do much damage, and he eventually gave up.
Are stim packs absolutely everywhere? Lots of
no.
I think I only found 6 or 8
in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see too many, and you're definitely, from what I've seen, going to need food and stim packs and other, making water, boiling water is actually a crafting thing. So you'll be doing a lot more purified water probably than stim packs, I imagine.
Nice. Interesting. That's really great.
How does VATS feel?
Oh yeah, did you guys do VATS?
It's great for melee. I hardly ever used it for guns.
Yeah, you know how you always start with a low percentage? So because you're kind of in spur of the moment stuff, that low percentage translates to feeling a little bit janky with guns at first, but it was a great way to lock on if something's moving. So I think VATS will still be useful.
Yeah, like when a bug is attacking you, a rad roach or whatever. You would still use it for that. But if it's behind you, I find it doesn't really work.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to flip you around and make the cool VATS noise like usual.
I'm just picturing all the horrible Fortnite fights with people just in VATS and then they're spamming the jump button.
Yeah.
But they're still landing a perfect shot, That's one thing I'm a bit concerned about.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on the community, of course, but as we know, the Fallout community is pretty great. So I have a feeling there will be more people with the same fears we have than there will be people who want to exploit those fears. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not free like Fortnite, so
Yeah, I just want a fair fight.
You think the not trolling, whatever the fuck it's called, do you think that's griefing? You think that's going to be a big issue? Frater, you think they solved it? You said they didn't do very much damage at all. And
It was almost comical watching the guy try to hurt me.
He said he only had a pipe pistol too. So if a guy comes up with a fat man and blasts you in the face from point blank, what sort of...
From what I've read about that, I don't think it does a whole lot of damage no matter what weapon they have until you accept the fight.
Sweet. Great. And blocking, can you just immediately block a douchebag?
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's great. I think that's pretty solid way to deal with it.
Yeah. And if there's a lot of douchebags, just switch worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hop servers like that easily enough?
Yeah, it seemed quick too.
Sweet. Lagginess and stuff. I've seen people complain about that. They're like, oh, it's so laggy. I don't want to play this. This game sucks.
They only optimized the center, I don't know, maybe 50% of the map. So as you got further and further to the edges, it was definitely rough.
Yeah, we definitely saw a difference there. But, we've all survived downtown Boston in Fallout 4 the first year or two, so it's no worse than that.
Yeah, that east side of downtown gets really bad. All right, wonderful. Thanks for checking in with us, guys. So let's pack our bags, everybody, and pop a cold one, a cold Nuka-Cola Quantum, so we can head on over to Nuka World. We have a couple of noobs who've never been to Nuka World before. Sarah's never been to Nuka World before. Mark has never been to Nuka World before. Ray has been to Nuka World many, many times. So, Ray, you had some really cool little wings on or something. What are you doing flying around over there?
It was just one of the mods that I had put on there. And conveniently enough, just as I was heading into Nuka World, Commander Kaler, the head of the gunners there at the plaza, was wearing a set. And it's got a little jetpack backpack on the back of the armor. It's not power armor, so it's not big and bulky, and you're not chewing through power cores. But it definitely came in handy. Although I used it without the wings. What was that, Mark?
And any fall damage if you run out of AP or anything?
I didn't really have any problem with it. I don't know. I didn't try to see if I could, if I was immune. But it lets you down pretty gentle even without power.
Cool.
Does it drop you down and your blast radius do damage to people around you?
No.
Oh, I got into so much trouble with it. Nice. I thought it looked great, Ray.
Thanks.
I'm not my playthrough right now has been super solid. I haven't had any crashes and I don't know how long. I haven't been running any mods. I'm excited to do another playthrough with a bunch of mods though. But, got that whole 76 thing coming out here pretty soon, so that might get in the way. So we're over in Nuka World, guys. Mark, it's your first time over.
Yeah, pop that Nuka cherry.
Ew.
So
well, that's a new one.
Did you enjoy the gauntlet?
A lot. Yeah, I see what you mean when about the parking garage. It's quite similar. Just got to take your time. But the whole time I was just thinking in the back of my mind, these guys haven't got a clue who they've messed with.
Sarah had gone through the you'd gone through the gauntlet last week or 2 weeks ago.
All right. Listen. Yeah.
What were you doing?
So, well, I told you guys earlier, but I will just share with everybody. So, I tried to go through the gauntlet with my roundtable character, and that was just like not gonna happen. I made it like 2 rooms in. That first room with all the turrets and stuff, not great. So I'm like, listen, I'm just gonna go get my OG character. She's like a level 52, and I'm just gonna get this shiz done, okay? And you guys, it's hard. It's really hard. I struggled through it even with my like character that has an amazing rifle and everything. And even now, I'm being murdered by robots. So that's as far as I got into Nuka World.
Murder by robots.
Murder by robot all day, every day. This is my 3rd day. I'm gonna take these suckers out. I did, do some other things that were suggested by Andrew earlier.
So what suggestions are you taking?
I dropped my difficulty level from very hard to hard, and I'm still dying.
Yeah, that's still harder than I play in general. Jeez. I've been dropping it from medium to easy.
Rude. You're supposed to be the Fallout genius.
No, that's why I have you guys on to. I just ask questions and make you guys talk about. You guys are the Fallout genius.
No, you're just in it for a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, relaxing after work. You don't want to punish yourself like us idiots.
Right?
So, what robots are killing you? Is it it's not the ones at the entryway?
No, I am trying to go get spacesuits.
Oh, and the galactic
zone, yeah.
Yeah,
and those Nukatrons are awful.
And they just keep coming. They just don't let up. And as soon as I think I have an area killed, like 20 more show up.
Yeah.
And they just overtake you. And so currently I am sneaking around because at this point I know where they all are. And I'm laying down mines and then backing up and shooting them with sniper rifles and making them walk over the mines.
That takes forever. That's awesome.
Have you been grabbing the star cores in the galactic zone?
I haven't even been in there.
Am I thinking of the same? I might be thinking of a different. If that's where you're getting the spacesuits from.
I'm supposed to get the spacesuits from not the galactic zone. It's
Yeah. It's Vault Tech Among the Stars in
yes.
The one.
Yep. Yeah.
If you grab, you can like
to your left.
Because as you go through, you can shut the robots down. The more cores that you pick up.
Oh, so you're telling me that I did my quests in the wrong order? Because I'm pretty sure that's one of the quests we do is the Galactic Zone, isn't it? Or no, they send you to the
No.
Galactic Zone after you get the spacesuits
It's just in the same area, I think.
in the same area.
I was just exploring because I've been in
Oh.
it all week trying to prepare for today.
Yeah.
So I've just been doing. I've like even with the other districts, just as it's popped up, I've gone along with it, and
Nice.
you can just as you go through. I think it's like every 5 cores you get or something. You can choose to shut down a different type of the robots, so they won't attack.
All right. Well, guess where I'm going? Because I'm done with these stupid robots.
I'm doing melee, so it's those stupid turrets that hang from the overhangs that keep fucking me up. Hate 'em.
Mhm. Oh yeah. How you
And
taking
they're
those
beefy
out?
ones too. They're laser turrets, most of them.
Yeah, they get you. I brought Kate and I gave her some guns. I'm having.
Nice.
I just wait until Kate deals with it. She unlocks stuff and shoots turrets and other things that I can't reach with my hammer.
Nice. She's helpful that way.
Yeah, it's great. Right on. Well, Mark, did you elbow your way in?
I sure did. I haven't found all the cappies. I think I've got 3 to go.
Some of them are just plain unfair. It's.
Well, I'm glad to say I haven't cheated yet, but I'm thinking about it.
I did. There were 2 of them that I couldn't find. No, wait.
So
3.
are we
I think there were
gonna?
3 I couldn't find. Yeah.
Are we giving away the positions, or are we gonna let everybody just sort of find it for themselves?
We
We
could give
said we're
general.
gonna spoil it.
Yeah. We'll probably give away where everything is. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
All right.
But
apart from that, I finished the trip to the trip to the stars.
Yeah, trip to
Finished
the
that.
stars. Yeah.
Finished that and almost threw up just before the show. And I'm in the mystery mansion right now. I'm creeping through slowly.
Nice. Well, since you just completed Trip to the Stars, why don't we go ahead and discuss that quest then? Mark, why don't
Great.
you lead us off?
Right, so you start off. I think I heard a couple of raiders. They were just chatting on, talking about how crazy these herbologists apparently are. So that will sort of spark up. I think it was a miscellaneous quest for me. So when I first travelled out of the actual Nuka world, and that took me back to the Mad Max comment. It's all sort of desert-y out there and quite barren. But you can see that any death claws, any big nasties, there's lots of rad scorpions out there and bloodworms. So you kill them and you can make Bert Gummer proud. And as you're walking down the road, some guy called Cleansed will come up and start chatting to you. And he's talking about herbology and sort of finding true bliss, true happiness, and are you truly happy? So I told him, well, some days more than others, you know. And he starts going on about all sorts of just nonsense, AH6, and we're going to go, I'll take you to see Dara. She's the leader of us, who's an AHS9. So we did that, and as we're walking along, he was no help at all. Had to fight 2 death claws, a death claw matriarch, a rad scorpion hunter, and an albino scorpion. And he just kept walking and not helping. And we finally get there, and you talk to Dara Hubble. And I think the impression I got, it seems like a bit of a poke at Scientology, the way they're going about it. Where she comes and asks you if you're seeking the answer to life's great questions, and she sincerely hopes that we're going to join. So I asked her, what is herbology? And she says that apparently there's a writer, Dick Hubble, he invented a process for expanding the human mind. Through the process of alignment, he was able to give his followers great mental powers. So I thought, sounds quite intriguing. And apparently she's a direct descendant of this Richard Hubble, and to keep out of all of his secrets. So if we want to join, you talk to Phil, and it doesn't give you a quest, but you can find him inside the little, I think it's like a cafe. You'll find him in there. But apart from that, she says that she doesn't really care after sort of making fun of her and calling her a religious kook. She doesn't care if we believe or not, but she needs 5 spacesuits from the galactic zone, which is what we were just talking about. And as I was going through, I saw them along and I thought, these look fancy. I'll get a few shekels for these. So I'd already grabbed 3 of them and I went to a trader. I'm trying to sell them and it popped up saying the quest item. And I didn't have a clue what was happening. And this was way, way, way before I'd even picked the quest up. But I don't think they affect, like quest items, I don't think they affect your carry weight. I could be wrong.
No, they typically don't.
It didn't seem to make a difference. But then I was scratching my head trying to wonder why I had so much bloody weight. I couldn't carry anything. But you can keep talking to her. You can squeeze a bit more money out of her. I got the max was 350 caps out of that. And while you're there, I just decided, right, I'll sort of meet everyone, see what they're saying. And I went to go see that Phil guy. Thought, right, we'll see what we have to do. And typical, not a cult at all, when they're asking you to donate 50 caps straight up. And he'll start talking about, are you ready to throw off the shackles of your neurodynes? Get used to hearing the word neurodynes. Whatever the heck a neurodyne is. Apparently, neurodynes build up on your brain and they cloud your ability to think. So he offers you an alignment. And with a charisma check, you can get it for free. Without donating the 50 caps, which of course, because I'm such a likable guy, he said that was fine. So I asked him, what is the treatment and what's going to go on? He says, just nonchalantly, we're going to strap you into a chair and pump your central nervous system full of zeta radiation. So I thought, I'll try anything once, why not? Let's have a sit down. It doesn't really do much other than give you a few rads, but I noticed when I was walking around, you get the little pill in the corner as if you've taken drugs or something. So I had a look in my active effects, and it says, I wrote it down here somewhere. I was suffering brainwave interference, subliminal suggestions, hypnotic pheromones, and theta radiation. So that's a -1 to 4 of your 7 stats.
Jeez.
I'll have a quick look now. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no active effects now, so it does wear off, which I'm quite thankful about. And I didn't mark down, daftly enough, where you find it, but there's a Nuka Fruity recipe somewhere in their camp.
Fruity?
Yeah,
It's on the table in the diner.
Yeah, I think it's quite obvious.
Yeah.
And then after that, I already had the 3 suits, like I'd mentioned, so I did a quick fast travel back to the Vault-Tec among the stars. And it was harder finding 2 than it would have just finding 5 in the first place, so I was kicking myself a little bit. But I forgot to mention, after you do your alignment, you'll get your herbologist robes. And if you try it on, does it not remind you of Maik the Liar? From Skyrim.
Never thought of that, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, he just sort of pops up here, there, and everywhere in those robes, the Khajiit. Yeah, that's enough for Skyrim anyway. We're on Fallout right now, so
there's always time for Skyrim.
Just a Bethesda collective.
Oh yeah.
So I found those. fast traveled back, went to the herbologist camp again, and go to talk to Dara, who's up looking through a telescope, and she's just sort of making comments under her breath. I can see it from here. It's just like he promised. So after she finally decided to talk to us and engage a conversation, she said, "There's a spaceship," which is because before I got the suits, she was talking about a battle. I was thinking, battle? What sort of battle? So obviously, she's found a spaceship. She doesn't say what kind of spaceship, but it's sitting in a junkyard, and she needed the suits to go and capture it. But what she fails to mention before she gives you your money and says thank you and gives a massive speech to everyone is that, oh, by the way, you're going to lead the attack. So I'm just like, all right, I've got nothing better to do. I might as well. So after asking her, why is the spaceship so important, she's telling us that she can't give us any information. It's confidential and reserved for anyone who is in AHS-7. So other than that, all we know really is we're just going to go. These, I think there were 6 of them altogether. We'll just going along, and you go into the junkyard. And typical, there was more robots spraying old dirty Nuka-Cola in your face and giving you more rads than you can manage. I think, is it the Mylet Queen might do a similar sort of rad damage, but it's devastating. I don't think I'd lose health as fast as I take on those rads from those robots. But on the way there, we fought the bloodworms, so some more Tremors stuff going on. And going through the junkyard was all right because they're actually quite tactical about it compared to most quest companions. They'll actually stop and ask you, how do you want to approach it? So you can go in alone, or you can just tell them to do whatever. But I told them just to follow my lead, stick behind me. And I was sniped quite a lot of the robots out from... I just sort of climbed the second story of the house where you start in. And I got maybe 3 or 4 of them already. And I thought, oh, this is going easy. It's absolutely no problem. Sneaking through, doing fine. And I found is it Scav or Scab? Issue 2, Fear the Knife King, with the best artwork ever. I was just sitting in a warehouse, and with a bunch more robots in there. And finally, as you come up along, you go round a blind corner, and what's sitting right in the middle of the way is, what was it here? Skull and Crossbones Annihilator Sentry Bot Mark II. And I thought it was I thought only the legendary robots were the ones that blew up when you killed them. But apparently this one does. So it took a good about 5 more minutes waiting for a load screen on there for some reason. To take him out, and everyone's cheering and rejoicing, and you head on up right outside the spaceship. And Dara has a chat with you again. She'll give you the herbologist's alien blaster. I think it might just be called the hub alien blaster, with no ammo. And after giving another speech to all of her little followers, she said she needs us for one last job, and she needs fusion cores. So by now, obviously, level 35 or so, we've got fusion cores aplenty. So I swapped all of my full decent ones, like 100%. I gave them all to my follower. I had Kate at the time. So gave all of them to her and kept like the ones that didn't have much charge left in them, and
nice.
put all of them in.
That's smart.
That is
Super
smart.
And what did I do next? So you put them all in, and you need to grab a power distributor. So I think it's in the same warehouse where the magazine is, the Scav magazine. So if you keep an eye out for a big round, it looks sort of like an iBot. I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick it up. if it's not marked, but you might, if you keep your eyes peeled, you might be able to just grab that. So I made the trip back to the spaceship. So they didn't even end up leaving the junkyard. They all just turned around and ran straight back, thankfully. And placed it in. But as soon as I went in, before I went to talk to Dara, I went inside and tried to start the ride, and it won't let you start it. So I hopped back out, and everybody sort of talked to Dara, and everyone runs back inside. You go inside, you start the ride, and you're spinning. Are we taking off? What's happening? Oh, I think I'm going to be sick. And just everyone was dead. I didn't understand what was going on. There was arms and legs and bits all over the place, and I went and looted all their stuff. I think I got 10 alien blaster rounds. And cheers, Dara.
Why on earth is alien blaster ammunition the most precious thing in the whole Commonwealth?
I was expecting at least 100. I was also expecting them not to die.
Yeah, there is a secret to that.
Yep.
Yeah, I did it your way. And then I was reading the wiki, preparing for the show, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to listen to what the fuck she says.
I just thought there was a typo in the quest log the first time. I loved when he said I had all these fusion cores and I just plopped them in because, I mean, what else are you going to do? Of course, fill all the holes.
I did that too. I did the exact same thing. Mark, did you know there's a way to let them all live?
Oh. Now that I think about it, after I put 3 in, something did ping on the quest marker. Because I thought I saw where it like pops up when you complete an objective. I'm sure it popped up twice.
Yep.
I didn't think anything of it. Okay. You can fire me from the show now.
I did it your way, man. I killed everyone too, and I was like, what the fuck? That happened. And I was reading the wiki, and she says put in 3 fusion cores into that little power box thing. And if you put in 4, that's what causes it to... What do you think, guys? Is it... Do they get shocked to death? Is electricity? Does it spin too fast? Are they killed by centrifugal force? Like...
Yeah, I think it just goes faster.
Just goes faster. And
Yep.
What an awful way to go.
Gravity pulls them apart. Like going into a black hole.
Yeah, and if you put in 3 and they live, you get 100 rounds.
Oh,
yeah.
What did I just say?
You wanted 100 rounds. Yeah, if you let them live, you get the 100 rounds. But still, that is not enough. And then how many do you get from the other alien blaster in the game? You don't get a ton.
No, that's like 60.
Yeah.
So total, there's like 160, 170 in the game.
70 for me, apparently.
That's crazy.
I was wondering why we were headed back there to the alien. Not to pull back the curtain too much.
I actually saw the spaceship in this playthrough for the first time ever. I've only ever heard my companions say something about it. I've never actually seen it fly over.
I'll often hear it and I'll see the trail, but never the actual ship. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's some XP given out. What is it, like 450, I believe. But you don't get any extra rounds if you kill them. With the 4 fusion cores, like we mentioned. Yeah, I believe you covered everything nice and in depth there. How are you dealing with the bad guys with your character role? Just give us a brief sort of reminder of what kind of attack methods and stuff you use.
Well, my main focus is rifleman. So I've got Reba 2 for 50 caliber and a suppressor on it. So I'll hang way, way back. And if there's a lot of enemies, so if for example, at the Nuka World Transit Center, I found a nice vantage point in any doorways, any choke points, anywhere where anything melee could track you down and sneak up on you, set mines up there, and then just take pot shots at them until you're finished. So as I started shooting down, is it Commander Kayla? Something like that. And the Assaultron came running up and just one-shotted me from behind with what was the patented blender hands you called them, or blender claws. So I just set up a whole load of pulse mines from anywhere that it could sneak up on me, and so I knew I was safe that way. And then but most of the time they don't even know what hit them.
Are you playing on survival? Very hard.
I was, but I'm playing on hard.
Yeah, Nuka World's even harder than the Commonwealth. It's a tough area.
Yeah, fuck those ant swarms.
Yeah, I agree.
The first time I saw them, and I thought, oh wow, awesome, yay, Fallout 3. I always wondered if the ants would come back, and nope, no, I don't want them. You can have them back, take them away.
Never mind.
Yeah, shotgun.
Yeah, it's a scatter shot, exactly.
Yeah. That does the trick.
Interesting mechanic when I popped it up in VAT, and it's just one entity.
And the flying swarms too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed a lot more, but not a lot more, but more callbacks to Fallout 3 in this DLC too.
Yeah, what do you notice?
I don't know if the Fallout 3 people who are playing at the moment, have they made it over to Gerda Shade yet?
Mm-mm. I've been working on Nuka World, so I haven't really had a chance to play Fallout 3 much. So no, I haven't.
Well, there's a certain crazy addicted lady that lives in a little town called Gerda Shade.
Okay.
Who has a Nuka-Cola museum.
Oh, interesting.
And her name is Sierra Petrovita.
Ba, ba, ba. Nice segue, Mark. It's like you were paying attention.
Yep.
Hey, this is that raw shit people expect from ASA podcast.
Oh, Jess, have you ever found all the cappies?
Yeah. Yep. And not on this character. Dallas stopped right around the Silver Shroud quests, but yeah, I've done all the Nuka World stuff.
This is the first time I've ever bothered finding all the cappies because it's always been a fucking pain in my ass. But I put it on the schedule to force myself to do it. And it's like one of those things like, you put carrots in your schedule because it's good for you type of things. I'd never done it before. I was like, I should see this. This will be fun. And I just thought it was just going to be find all the things and get a reward. I didn't realize it was going to be a cool end quest to it. I thought those are really, really fun quest. Freighter, have you found all the cappies too?
On previous playthroughs I did, but
nice.
I haven't even tried on this one. I think I've maybe got half of them.
All you guys are like completionists and doing this stuff. I got to put the annoying find the everything quest on the schedule to force myself to do them.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Any ones that are very easy to find right off the bat? So how do we actually? Let's not jump ahead of ourselves. You mentioned Miss Sierra, Mark. What is she like in Fallout 3? What do we know about this character?
I'm sure she's crazier in Fallout 3.
Do you remember the interaction?
So long now. Yeah, so in Fallout 3 you come to this town. It's way off. I'm not sure if it's west or northwest or so. I could be dead wrong on the map, but it's on the edge of the map. And there's just a town with 2 houses in it. One's the sort of Radar gruff-looking guy who is absolutely obsessed and in love with Sierra, and the other is Sierra, she's turned her house into a sort of museum and shrine to Nuka-Cola, as she's addicted and absolutely loves the stuff. And she gives you a quest to find, I think, quantums in Fallout 3. There's a limited number, so you get a quest to find 20 or so of them for her, and you get a special reward after. And I can't remember what she gives you, but she's equally, if not more, in your face, mental and addicted on Mama Murphy's scale.
So, who's this person who lives next to her?
I wish I remembered his name now. I should have looked it up before the show. But he gives you a different option to take the quest. If he wants you to give him the quantums, so she gets all giddy and falls in love with him.
Oh,
he's very aggressive about it.
Nice. Oh, that's okay. So that's cool. So have you found her? Did you run into her in this playthrough yet?
Instantly, I recognized her voice straight away, and that bright green shirt, and those stupid glasses.
She's wearing the same outfit in 3 as she is in 4?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just. I think she's just wearing like standard vanilla Wastelander clothes in 3.
Yeah. So I guess she decided to take a trip, a pilgrimage.
Yeah, she's on what you Americans call vacation. So.
Oh, you can say holiday. It's fine. We understand.
She's on her holidays. She's on her holidays.
I think for her it's more of a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's brave though. It makes me wonder where Nuka World would be in relation on the map, because it must have been quite a trek from DC to wherever that. It mustn't be far from Boston, I would assume.
And I assume we're to just assume that all these people are making these trips on foot. There's no mass transportation or anything, right? You don't think she'd fly down BOS for Vertibird or anything, probably.
Unless there's water nearby, but I don't think there is.
Well, you could get a Brahmin cart. Don't know why we haven't seen them yet.
I was going to say, do you see carts? You see, they have a stack 15 feet high off their fucking back, but they don't have a cart to drag behind them, which would be way more efficient.
Slow going, but you save your energy, I guess.
Yeah, we need a mod with carts. So we find Sierra. What are her motivations? Why is she here?
There was a secret contest before the war for you to find. You have to find all of the hidden cappies to win a special prize before you leave. What? I'm trying to think of what else she says to you now.
Do you know what that's in reference to, Mark?
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Sarah, you're from California. Do you know?
Say that one more time.
I said, Sarah, you're from California. Do you know what the hidden cappies are representing? What that's a reference to?
No, I feel like such a horrible Californian.
And Ray, you're also a Californian.
No idea.
Is it like the hidden Mickeys at Disneyland?
Hidden Mickeys at Disneyland.
Oh, snap. I am a good Californian. Thank you very much.
You're a good Californian. So at Disneyland, evidently, they have hidden mouse faces hidden all over the park, and you can find all these mouse faces. And I don't know if you actually get a prize or anything, but it's just one of the crazy little weird things that that goes on in Disneyland, and I feel like the Nuka World is definitely a there's lots of tongue-in-cheek references to Disney in
It's
this.
definitely an homage.
I must have missed that when I was at Disneyland, because when we were on our holidays, we didn't realize it was the day of spring break that we went in, so
Oh no.
it wasn't very nice.
Oh, that's a bummer. We should really take advantage of Disneyland more living here.
Is the Podfather Michael, does he still frequent Disneyland?
I don't. I'm surprised he even goes back to Philadelphia anymore. You know, like he should just. I think he has a residency there at least. You know, they probably know him by name.
Hmm.
He walks in there like, "Hey, you were just here." Yeah, that's cool. One of my coworkers is also a frequenter. She just decided to take a long weekend, flew down for the weekend.
Really?
Yeah, he loves it.
Funny.
No, it's the happiest place on earth, Sarah. I don't know if you'd heard.
You know, I do say that I should take advantage more often, but I think the last time I went was well before I had kids. I think it was like maybe 9 or 10 years ago, and like I'm cool with that.
What you really need to do is come to Indiana and go to Holiday World in beautiful Santa Claus, Indiana.
What? What is this? What is this place?
Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana.
Why? Is it like Christmas town?
It's all
Like-
holidays.
Like Nightmare Before Christmas?
It's all holidays. Yeah. I don't know. I've never actually been there. My wife's been there a bunch, but oh, just once. Okay. My wife's been there, but I always
In the background.
I keep trying to convince
Hi,
her.
Tori.
Hello.
Everyone's saying hi to Tori. He's like, meh. She's playing Lego Avengers 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go. But so crazy theme parks. So there's crazy Disney references all over this park.
Mhm.
Hidden Mickeys being the hidden Cappies thing. Anybody wearing power armor with these Cappy glasses? I had trouble getting my power armor visor and Cappy glasses to function together. I had to like take off my helmet and put on the glasses and then put the helmet back on and stuff. It was weird. Anybody else run into that?
Yeah, I had to take I have the combat, marine combat gear from the Far Harbor, so I didn't get to wear my helmet anymore. And
Yeah.
It would be nice if they gave you another buff, but nope,
Yeah, they should give you some perception or something at least, right?
at least something, yeah.
All right, so she's there for the contest, and does she know anything about the prize?
I
She
believe
assumes, she assumes that she's going to get to meet Bradberton.
And this is the guy who, as a amateur chemist, somehow stumbled upon the secret chemical makeup that became Nuka-Cola or something, right?
Yeah.
And is his office right there? Is she standing outside of his locked office?
Yeah, it's right there.
Yep.
All right, so that's where we need to come back to. There's a locked office there, and the Cappies. The whole point here, guys, it's you have to put in the code, and the code is hidden in the Cappies. So you put on these glasses, and you can only see the Cappies. Just like those old 3D puzzles where you had a blue lens and a red lens when I was a little kid, and you looked at those books, and you could only see them if you had the 3D glasses on. I love that stuff. So you can only see the Cappies if you have these glasses on, and they put these quest markers down, so they just give you a generalized area, but they don't tell you exactly where the Cappies are at all. Just, I don't know, maybe the same cell. They're not very specific at all. The quest markers disappear also as soon as you approach the area, and then they don't reappear if you like sort of leave and don't find that cappy and you try to come back. I don't think they pop back up again. So be careful.
Seriously?
I don't think so.
Oh, I didn't notice
When you enter that area, I think that happened to me. I could be wrong about that. All right, so let's talk
I
about
still haven't been to a few places, so I'll try it out and I'll report back.
Do you mind being spoiled, or do you want to bow out, Mark?
No, I think I've been dodging them for long enough now. I'm kicking myself. I left the group when I was in the group a few years ago. I could have been doing this fine. So now we'll go for it. Just go right ahead.
Right on.
And then no listeners can email you and give you grief.
Yeah. They've been spoiler warned. Well, this DLC has been out for quite a long time, so
yeah, it's
we can't hold off for it. Sarah, did you find any cappies?
no, and I'm not attached to finding them, so
yeah.
You can go ahead and tell me where they are.
You a fetch quest type fan? Do you ever find the Stones of Baron Zaya in Skyrim?
No, I like to fight stuff. Even dying by robot. I think I'd rather die by robot than search for things. Puzzles, not my thing.
Star Cores, not your thing.
No.
Demon's Blue Nightmare, not your thing.
No. Mm.
All right, so let's find some cappies. Ray, you and I were talking about ones that we had a lot of trouble finding. What order sort of did you find them in, Ray? Let's just go ahead and start off with the first couple you found.
So the first one was the one right by the Fizz Top Grill. And then I used the Cappy quest to kind of tie everything else together. So I went from there to the Galactic Zone. And
did you do the whole park? Were you collecting Star Cores and did you do the whole?
Yeah, when I went to Galactic Zone, so I thought that the quest we had to do was the Star Cores.
Oh no.
And so I was, so I went to Galactic Zone. I found the first Cappy just outside the employee area. And then started, working on collecting all the Star Cores.
I'm sorry, Ray, that sucks.
Fortunately, I remembered that, while you're there, you can grab the spacesuits and, get a quick perk from the Hubologists. So I gathered the spacesuits as I was going through. So I did have those after I did the Hubologist quest is when I realized that was the one I was supposed to be doing in the first place.
Whoops. Yeah, the title of Trip to the Stars makes me think of that's the Star Core quest.
Yeah.
What is the Star Core quest actually called?
I don't even know.
Like, we're jerking you around with Star Cores, jerk bag. That's what that quest is called.
Yeah. So I completely went through the Galactic Zone, but fortunately, Zhang doesn't really have many issues with any of the enemies there because she's sporting this. Her perk is Commando, so her exploding shotgun is automatic. It's got the 32 round clip in it.
That's devastating.
It has a silencer. So I also have Mr. Sandman.
A silenced exploding shotgun.
Yeah. So you can't tell where the shot came from, but you can definitely tell where it hit.
Yeah, where it lands.
And she has a piece of chameleon armor. So whenever she's crouched down and isn't moving, she disappears.
Yeah, I love that. That's fun.
And so all the robots are kind of looking around. There's somebody here, but we can't see her. And so she just picks them all off.
Are you agility 10? Are you maxed out in sneak and stuff?
No, not at all. I think my agility is only 3 or 4.
Oh, nice. It's just you've been doing the perks with it.
Yeah.
What kind of scope do you use?
I don't.
Right, because I've had problems with the reflex sight when you go invisible.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. I mean, you can see the end of the gun, and you don't have to be super accurate. And the other thing is, you're just holding down the trigger. So if you miss the first time, the third and fourth and fifth shot will definitely hit.
I was gonna say you don't have to be accurate at all with an exploding shotgun. Yeah, that was one of my complaints. Thank you for bringing that up, Mark. That to see your gun and stuff like that. If you bring up your Pip-Boy when you're crouched with one of those chameleon pieces of armor on, you can't even see the Pip-Boy generally. Like you can see some of the font a little bit, but you're like, oh shit, I gotta stand up.
I hate that. I hate that.
Pip-Boy, yeah.
And then my other, one of my other perks is rad resistance. So she's got a little bit of rad resistance, but whenever I go to Nuke World, I always have Mysterious Serum. And so even when you're in the Kitty Kingdom and you're getting directly sprayed by the by the little cooling towers, you're taking 16, 17, 18 rads per second.
Yeah.
And Mysterious Serum is just sloughing it off like it's not even there. So definitely make that in the jetpack. So she's just cruising through.
Yeah, the jetpack. It's
tearing everything up.
Guys, it cures all sorts of what ails you in Nuka World, this jetpack, I'm telling you.
That would have been amazing.
One of the annoying parts about Nuka World is that it's all segmented and held behind 20-foot walls. Each segment, you can't get to each other without going in and out of, very strict entryways. And I don't know why they put up fucking 20-foot walls, because they don't want you hopping out. But you get that jetpack and they can't keep me down. You hop right out of there and go to other segments. And there's we'll get to it in a minute, a cappy through a maze that is just solved in a snap if you have the jetpack. That maze is a pain in my ass. The jetpack helps you solve right through that. You don't have to deal with that at all.
Yeah, I just flew up and landed on top of the hedges. And was able to just walk across the top, which also made it easy to kill the gator claw that was hiding in there.
Yeah, gator claws. One of my favorites. So Ray found the first one. You mentioned it's at the Fizz Top Grill. It's just to the west of the Fizz Top Grill on a large wall. Go to the restrooms, everybody, and look up on the wall just to the left of the bathrooms. That is your first cappy. I forgot to write down what letters all of these are. I just wrote down where they were. I forgot to write down the letters. You found a couple over in, you said, the Galactic Zone.
Yeah.
There's one.
Also, when you're in the Galactic Zone and you go to Vault-Tec.
Vault-Tec Among the Stars?
Among the Stars, yeah. So those effects that Mark got from his hebologist treatment are the 4 tests that that Vault-Tec was running on the guests at Vault-Tec Among the Stars. So even though it wasn't an actual vault, they were still experimenting on the visitors of the park that were in the Vault-Tec vault.
Remind me how they were doing that, right?
So one of them was mind control. You go in this the greenhouse area and you're getting sprayed by this what looks like a demonstration of how to grow plants underground. But it's actually giving them the ability to use power of suggestion to make you hit another guest or take off all your clothes or whatever.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. One of them was that they expose you to theta radiation. I don't remember what they all are. It was all the stuff that Mark had listed off, but it basically, it was just being able to control, people's minds.
So that goes back to Scientology and brainwashing and such. How is that connected to the Hubologist camp? Is it directly somehow?
I didn't really find any. I mean, you can get access to the terminals when you're in there. So it's possible that if they were looking around the park that they could have found that.
Yeah, I highly recommend checking terminals in Nuka World. There's great stuff on there.
Yeah. Guys, speaking of terminals, I just found a holotape sitting here, was sent into the show, and the holotape has some information about terminals that I think we need to help this person out with. So why don't we take a listen to this holotape that the show received.
Hello. This is a broadcast requesting assistance from anyone who's willing to lend me a hand. My name is Rebecca. I'm an amateur researcher or explorer or historian or a combination of those things. I'm interested in collecting and documenting pre-war records in order to secure what information is left before it's lost forever. My idea is to explore the Commonwealth, locating all of the remaining active computer terminals and collecting whatever information is left on them. I have a list of known locations which I will be visiting and will dictate any records I find onto holotapes. It's going to be a big project and I'm going to set out and get started by myself. But if anyone is listening to this and is willing to help me out, I'd really appreciate it. I'm using a ranger cabin west of Concord as my base, and I will be returning there periodically to organize the information I've found. If you would like to join me for this project, bring supplies and meet me at the cabin. Hope to see you there. End of message.
Interesting. So I think that we should all collect our efforts together and see if we can help out this Rebecca. Let's get some volunteers together. So pull back the curtain a little bit. This is something Rebecca has been coming up with in the background. This is a project that she is calling Fallout Terminal Velocity. And this is going to be it's going to be like mini episodes taking inspiration from the Fallout Book Club or the Skyrim Book Club. We're going to be basically the Fallout Terminal Club, ripping them off sort of and taking inspiration from. We won't say rip off. But Rebecca's been coming up with all sorts of great stuff in the background, and we're going to need lots of volunteers to help. She's looking up where all these terminals are, and we're going to have it sort of be like part of the show where you will be a vault dweller sort of sent out to find information about the past world through these terminals. And we'll report back to Rebecca with these the holotapes. So what you will do is just read the terminal entries into the holotapes, all the terminal entries for a building, and then report back to Rebecca, and then we'll have sort of mini episodes of just all the terminals for one location. So it'll just be a few minutes, sort of like a mini episode type thing. and it'll be a fun little project. So we're looking for anyone and everyone out in our community who is interested in helping out and reading some terminals. Please contact us at thefalloutfeed@gmail.com, and we'll get stuff set up with Rebecca. So that'll be a fun little project. And sorry, I just had to cut in there. You guys were talking about terminals, so it was just so appropriate for me to cut in there.
There you go. Definitely sounds like a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll
that's a
definitely
great
be good
idea.
to listen to.
And Rebecca was really worried. She's like, she even said it in the little promo there that she's like, I'm starting off by myself, and it'll be a big project. Like, she's worried that she's gonna be doing this alone. And I told her, you don't know this community. You're gonna have like 10, 15 people. You're gonna have to beat people off to not be reading terminals and volunteer to do this stuff for you. You know, you're gonna have tons of these people. You don't know this community. This roundtable stuff. People hop on stuff like this. So let's prove me right, and have a bunch of people hop on, read a bunch of cool terminals, and we'll have a fun little mini show within a show type thing going on. Where were we with Cappies? You found two in
So
Galactic-
two in the Galactic Zone.
you said employee zone. The employee
it was-
area? What is?
Well, it's just outside the employee area where you can find a magazine and a fusion core and just some general loot.
It's the star control where you put all the star cores in the main.
Yeah, it's the upper level.
Yeah, up to the left of that, right? There's a sort of a locked gate that takes you back behind to where there were some traders or something that all got slaughtered. Is that right?
Yeah, it's an expert locked gate.
Yeah.
And right before the gate, you don't even have to go through the gate, I don't think.
No, it's on the outside of the gate.
Yeah, there's one of the Cappy letters right there.
Also, and yet another thing that the jetpack is handy for circumventing.
Oh God, I didn't even think of that. That's great. You know what, Ray? I probably would have sat there and tried to pick that lock.
I have 0 lockpick, so I just don't pick locks.
Yeah, I bring Kate with me for that purpose anyway.
Yeah. So from there, I went over to Dry Rot Gulch and picked up a couple of there.
Where was the other one in Galactic Zone? Did you say?
It was in the battle zone.
Battle zone.
Where the robot fights are.
Was inside?
Yeah.
Weird.
No, I found it. It was up like the starry ramp with laser turrets in it. I found it up the top of that ramp by the robot battlegrounds.
Yeah, it's just right outside.
Oh, okay. It is outside.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think. No, the one in Mad Mulligan's mine was on the inside.
Yeah, that sucks. I didn't have any of the prerequisite stuff done for that, so there was a couple of different ones that I had trouble getting because they were like locked inside. You had to do a few things before someone would reveal them to you. What was the other one? There was that one at Mad Mulligan's mine. Oh, and the robots, the also in the western area, whatever that the Dry Rock Gulch,
the one behind on the backside of the tombstone.
Yeah, I guess you could randomly stumble upon that, but I did all of their favors and stuff in order to find it.
Yeah. There's a couple in Kitty Kingdom. So one of them is one of the ones there is really tricky to get to. You have to go through the fun house, and when you're in the room with the spinning floor, it's behind one of the doors.
All right, Mark, you got sick in the spaceship. Have you gone to find this Cappy yet?
All the spinning things.
Well, and this one's the worst too because it's so aggravating. Because usually, you'll finally grab a door, but then you get stuck on the other side of it,
Yeah,
And-
they open the opposite way.
Yeah. So yeah, that one was pretty frustrating. Then the other one is up in the clock tower.
Yeah, right there next to the king's castle. There's an old broken down clock tower. Head up that way.
So I did spend a little time in Safari Adventure because I wanted to get Ceto's shiny slugger.
Okay.
So I did the Ceto quest there.
What is his shiny slugger's effect?
It's actually one of the best melee weapons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it even gives Adam's Judgment a run for its money.
Ooh, I should look into it then.
Yeah, that's definitely good for a melee play.
I'm getting sort of fed up with Adam's Judgment just because it's so big that I can only see half my screen.
Yeah.
And there's a glowing green steam that comes off of it, which eliminates and clouds a good 20 to 30% radius around it too. So not only does it cut off half the screen, it also clouds another 20% of it, you know?
Yeah. So Ceto's shiny slugger is only slightly less annoying.
Only slightly? Oh no. Is it a rocket bat or something? What is it?
Yeah, it's a rocket bat with spikes.
That sounds pretty fun. Can you upgrade it to like bladed and then whatnot?
Well, it's already got the spikes in it.
Yeah. Is that best? I don't know. I don't know melee.
Yeah, I like spiked.
I wish I could add spikes to Adam's Judgment. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. But it has a base damage of 123.
Good lord. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And so if you've got big leagues and bloody mess, it goes up dramatically.
And the spikes is that, I assume, bleeding damage? What is it? Armor puncture.
Armor puncture, yep.
Okay. Nice.
So went through that, and that's another one of those where the jetpack came in handy, because one of the cappies is actually, both of these are helped out dramatically by the jetpack. So just outside the primate house where you meet Ceto, there's a gorilla statue that's surrounded by a hedge. And on the back side of the gorilla statue stand is the cappy.
This is the one that caused me to cheat.
You're just not going to find that one, unless you know where it is. Because there's no reason to be behind the statue of the gorilla on the other side of the hedge.
Behind the hedge. Now, there is something I forgot to mention before we started here. I don't know if anyone else found this. Is there a way to get a list of hints from Sierra before you start out?
Yes.
Do you always get that list? Do I have it in my inventory and just didn't notice?
I'm not sure about that, because since I'm a noob to the DLC.
Oh, isn't it I think it's a holotape that she gives you.
Yeah.
So I have it in my inventory, this holotape. Everybody, listen to the holotape, because it is a list of hints, and I wouldn't have had to pull my hair out if I just listened to the holotape, because it's one of the hints. I don't have the list in front of me, but the hint for this one reveals that it is hidden in the shrubbery. So you should listen to that holotape. It doesn't give you specific locations, but it gives you, with the map marker gets you close enough to the area, and then the hint should be specific enough to guide you to where you need to go.
This hidden cappy is close to the ground. Look in the place where tombstones are found.
Yeah, there's the tombstone one, right? See, and if I was paying attention at all, I would have known to do that instead of having to go all the way through the Giddy Up Buttercup, round them up BS, you know.
Oh, I see the one you. Yeah, is this the Safari one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Go
So-
into the hedges.
Yeah.
It literally says go into the hedges. So
Yeah.
So listen to that holotape. That's a big help for anyone who hasn't found any of them yet. Let's see. You did the Galactic Zone already. We did the Western Zone. You did the Kitty Kingdom.
So there's only one in the World of Refreshment.
World of Refreshment. That's the bottling plant, right? Okay.
Yep.
And that one is if you just go through, you follow the river, and you get to the Wild West sort of setting with all the buildings and the town set up. I think it's like when you go through with the Wild West setting and it's about to turn right again, but there's like two buildings. If you turn just and look to the left, there's two buildings separated, and on the side of one of the buildings there is that one. That one took me a while to find. It was sort of up against the side of the building. I'd like to hear what that hint is.
Yeah, if you go past the Mirelurk Hunter, you've gone too far.
Yeah. Did you get the power armor and everything out of there, Ray? Did you do all the stuff?
No. Pseudo Shiny Slugger was the only one I really went for.
I kind of like that power armor. What do you have to do to get that? I forget what you have to do.
You have to take out the queen.
Is she out back?
Yeah, she's outside in the retention pond.
Yeah. I ran into her on my way in, actually, because I approached it from the other side, which was fun. But it was still locked up. What do I have to do to unlock it?
I don't know. The time before, I just went through the plant in normal
through the normal process.
progression, and it just yeah.
I just have to play the quest and it'll open up. But I was in a rush. I was just doing the cappies. So there's only one in the bottling plant on that house in the western town.
I would give you the hint, but I'm stuck on a load screen.
All right.
And then that's, once you've got all those, and you head to Sierra.
That's a collection of letters. And if you open up your Pip-Boy, can you see these clues? Can you try to map it out before you actually go back to talk to her?
I don't know that I tried.
I definitely did not. So after you collect all the cappies, you can finally take off those stupid glasses. You go back to Sierra, and after a conversation with Sierra, she puts the clues all together, and she finally finds the combination to open up Brad Burton's office. This is where it gets really fun. Jess and Freighter, have you guys played it up to this point? You said you guys have in the past.
Oh yes, it was a refreshing change, definitely.
I thought this was just going to be a fetch quest, and it was up to this point. And I think this is kind of a nod to, like we're talking about all the nods to Fallout 3. I think this is kind of a New Vegas nod almost.
A bit New Vegas, and obviously Walt Disney,
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So what do we find inside of Mr. Brad Burton's office?
I think that depends on how you play it out.
Yep.
How have you done it in the past, Freighter?
Ooh, I've tried a few different ways, but honestly, I don't remember which one is the optimal one that gets you everything you could possibly want out of there. But I think you have to betray him to trick him into opening everything for you.
Yeah, I mean, you can get everything. I mean, we haven't really talked about it yet because Sierra's so excited when you get all the cappies and she figures out the code word, refreshing. So you get in there and she thinks she's going to find the Nuka-Cola formula. That's all she's about. That's all anyone expects to find.
Okay, so Sierra Sierra puts it together. It says refreshing, and she's really excited. We get in there, and she's looking for the formula for Nuka-Cola, like you said. She's super excited to just get in there. What is the scene we walk into, though?
It's just an office, because you actually you read the terminal and determine that there is a switch to a secret room hidden somewhere in that office.
Where is the switch?
Well, where any good switch would be hidden, on the Nuka-Cola machine.
Up on the side of your Nuka-Cola. We flip the switch. Looks like Vault-Tec's been here, guys.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
So then you go down into a big room that has a computer in the middle of it, with a little bell jar with Mr. Bradburton's head.
Of course, and here's another. Sarah, do you get this Disney reference?
Well, my name's
Sorry,
not Sarah, but not you go.
Is this a Simpsons reference? No, not Simpsons.
Disney.
It is very Futurama, though. You're right.
Futurama. There we go.
Yeah,
Futurama.
Futurama, you're right.
That's originally what I thought.
I was gonna ask if there was a guy froze like in a cryogenic pod down there or something.
Yeah, isn't there rumors that he froze himself?
Yeah, there's rumors that Disney's head is in a jar and he's frozen his body until they find a cure for whatever killed him.
Yeah.
As a kid, I totally believed it too. So I thought this was great.
Well,
Yeah.
I've never not seen the head in a jar, so I mean,
Totally.
it could
Yep,
be
I
true.
mean, yeah.
So you talk to Mr. Bradburton, and he tells you how happy he is to see you, because
Yeah.
you can put him out of his misery.
What has happened here? Did you go through all the whole long conversation and hear the story, Ray?
Yeah. So he well, and also you read some of it in the terminal. So he had actually gotten involved with the U.S. government and was developing a weapon for them. And in exchange, they were going to hook him up with the technology, the cryogenic technology that would preserve his life and keep him alive. But little did he know that meant that it was just going to be his head, and that he was going to be stuck in this place with nobody else for hundreds of years. And so he's going crazy. He doesn't have any way to kill himself.
What?
Because all he has is a head.
What kind of weapon was he developing for the government?
Well, you find out eventually. If you...
Oh, yeah, if you play it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he asks you to turn the power off so that he can die.
So he can thaw out.
Yeah, well, and it would kill him because it's what's keeping him alive.
Yeah.
And so then, of course, Sierra freaks out. I've come all this way. I've got an opportunity to spend the rest of my life talking to my hero. And he says, "Oh, please no."
Yeah. He's like, "Oh God, shoot me."
And so, the only responsible thing to do is to go and turn the power off. Because if you side with Sierra, she gives you a jumpsuit.
It's pretty Nuka-Cola jumpsuit, pretty exciting.
Sweet Nuka-Cola jumpsuit.
It is a rare Nuka-Cola jumpsuit, granted. But if you kill Bradburton, he opens up his vault, and you get the Nuka launcher that he was working on for the government.
Okay.
Which is a special Fat Man that fires blue projectiles. So instead of exploding in the regular yellow flames, these Nuka Fat Man shells,
Nuka nukes.
Explode blue.
And what is it? I read it in the wiki. Is it like a 30% more damage radius? Like it extends the damage radius or something? Or is it increased damage?
It is 50% more damage than a basic Fat Man.
50%. Wow.
Super powerful.
That's very, very efficient.
So the base damage on that is 833. And the base damage on a standard Fat Man is 468.
Fuck me.
Jeez, put on your sunglasses for that.
Yep.
Good Lord. What's the Merv? Is that the...
That's the one that shoots 8 fat men at once, I believe.
So that has to be more damage, but right?
2691.
Jeez.
Oh my Lord. What enemy has the most XP in the game?
Oh, I've seen a video on this. Which one?
Oh God, I can't believe you. I was hoping to stump you, right? Come on.
Now I want to say the fog crawler. I don't remember now.
Oh,
it's been a while since I've seen
really?
the video.
Fog crawler. I was thinking the fog ghoul. No, fog crawler. The sort of praying mantis looking thing in the Far Harbor.
It's not the one that old Longfellow's got a feud with,
Shipbreaker.
Shipbreaker's the winner, the chicken dinner.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look. It's been a while.
I think it's the Red Death.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's a scary quest. All right, so let's go around the room. How did we play out this quest? Jess, do you kill the guy?
Oh, no. I'm Sierra all the way. Here's the thing. No matter which way you go, you get a dialogue with one of them that kind of makes it all better. So, I mean, of course, I've tried both, but my original playthrough, I definitely went with Sierra. I left John Caleb Bradburton there, and he was okay with it after a bit. He enjoyed having a conversational companion.
So, okay, you said there's a conversation that lets you feel better. Can you explain that a little further?
Oh, sure. So after you talk to Sierra and agree not to kill him, at first his first line is very upset. I don't remember what it exactly says. But after that, he says, it is nice to have a real conversation after a while. It's been 200 years. And, he kind of lets you feel better. And he says, I'm so happy to know that my legacy lives on. Sierra has me believe, because of course she's his biggest fan. Sierra says that people still love my products the world over. So, there's that gratification there.
And I know he's way more lonely than the Vault Tech rep, but I kind of get the same vibe from the Vault Tech rep of...
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the LeapX technology, that was the life-saving technology he was using. The idea was that it would make him immortal and his whole body, but they just weren't far enough in development. And it's kind of a weird parallel, because you as the Vault Dweller were, Soul Survivor in this case, were also frozen for 200 years, just like him. But he's aware and alive because of the technology they were working on.
That's amazing. I didn't realize there were so many parallels there.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So they just lopped off his head.
They just lopped off his head and kept him alive.
Where's his body? Do we know?
Probably in a gator claw. I don't know.
We can only hope so. That's great. Ray, how'd you play it?
I turned off the power.
Let him die. And does that how you get the?
Yeah, that open. Then it opens up the vault.
He also promises you his life savings or something too, right? Which is only 500 caps, which, you know, for someone who is basically Walt Disney and the inventor of Coca-Cola wrapped into one, I found very, very disappointing that his nest egg to be 500 caps.
That's Fallout for you.
Yeah. Caps weren't the currency back then, you know, he was recycling.
Oh my God. Oh, speaking of caps weren't the currency, I had money issues. Coming up here in just a second. There is this motherfucker at this other attraction over here in near Nuka World. Up popped a tourist attraction, and there's a robot out front selling tickets. But this son of a bitch won't take caps. And he
You
says,
don't have a big wad of old world money?
I dump all my shit. And so he was like, oh, well, you can check with the cashier behind you. So like he gave me a hint and I just wasn't following it for a second. Then I was like, okay, behind me. So I looked and I was like, okay, oh wow. All right, there's a cash register there. Great. They're gonna be smart and give me the old world money, the cash, so that I can just grab it and go over there and buy. Okay, we'll be fine. So I went and grabbed the money, came back over, and it was, you know, they gave me like $17 and it was freaking 75 or something, 65 or something per ticket. So they didn't even give me enough. So it was infuriating on two levels. First of all, I couldn't pay for it, and then second of all, they gave me a hint to find enough money to pay for it, but they didn't give me enough money. I was pissed off. So I had to fast travel back to my location.
I'll give you a hint too.
What's that? Is there
kill
more?
Kill the robot.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that, Ray, because that's mean. I know that's your thing and all. Like, just kill them all and ask questions later. I'm not that. I can't kill things just like that willy nilly, Ray. We're not
just a robot.
Don't have feelings.
Oh my
What
God!
happens in Nuka World stays in Nuka World.
Every synth just shed a tear.
Hey, I have a question. I had a shower thought the other day. This is going to come way out of left field. You guys be ready. So my question is, with spoiler alert, if anybody has not finished the game, has everyone here finished the game?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Those of you that are listening, turn it off if you don't want me to spoil anything. So sweet little baby Sean that you take home, he's just going to be like 12 forever. Can you like upgrade him into like a bigger body? How is that going to work long term?
They have biological material.
Yeah, I guess. Huh? Like upload his.
The only difference between a human and a synth is that there is a synth component inside their brain.
He was the first child synth, though, wasn't he? So no, I think he's going to stay the same unless you can move his consciousness in the memory den or something.
They show you building they show them building synths as adults, but there are synth children around too. So those synth children don't age at all ever?
I don't think so. No, in fact, I think that it was pretty controversial when they made him.
Okay, so they're making children too.
Well, no. So they made him. The only other child synth that you ever come across is
there's a little girl in the institute, right?
I don't remember.
I thought I ran into a little girl running around in the institute.
Human child.
Yeah, there's the boy that is in Tales from the Commonwealth.
Huh. Okay. I'm obviously wrong.
Is it the same boy that's when you first get in there, you start freaking out saying, Sean, it's me? Is it the same one?
Yeah.
Because I think, does Father not mention something about him being a test or a prototype? Or
yeah.
If you talk to Dr. Lee, she talks about it. Or maybe it's in her terminal that you find out that it was quite controversial and even she wasn't sure what to do about it. But that Father had insisted that they actually use his genetic code as a direct copy.
That's interesting because they are biologic flesh and bone material, right? They don't grow, so they don't have like a thyroid gland or something, I guess.
Yeah, because they also don't get older.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when with the adult ones they make,
So many.
and you're not really worried about it because if you happen to save him, then really all he's going to do is he's going to turn toasters into weapons for you.
Well, I mean, that's all he's gonna do. That sounds like amazing things.
He'll make you a laser rifle.
You gotta have the laser rifle.
Yeah, that's one of the cutest named guns in the game. I don't know if I've ever used it. What's its perk? The Wazer rifle.
You never need to reload.
Oh God, that's a great one.
Amazing.
I have used that on and off before. Yeah, now that you mention that, that is a great legendary effect.
It's McCready's old one.
Sorry to throw everyone off track. It was just.
No, that's a great shower thought, and it's actually really sad. It reminds me of like Kirsten Dunst's character in Interview with the Vampire, like just a child forever. Like,
Yeah. I mean, eventually my character is gonna die. You know, he's just gonna be. Well, now I'm depressed. So.
Well, that's all sense though. All sense will just live forever. So, will the Institute ever get to a point where they're saturated and will stop producing them if they live forever?
I know, that's another question.
That's for Gen 4 sense. I think maybe you can take them, like I expect maybe with Sean in my head canon, take him to the memory den as he ages, get him in, you know, an older body, transfer the consciousness, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Son, you're about to hit puberty.
That's actually pretty convenient. You could just skip it all together.
Yeah.
Well, if it cheers you up, I would like to confirm quickly now with Cappy in a haystack, if you do go to an area and then leave, the quest marker doesn't disappear.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, nice.
I thought that it did. That's good to know that it pops back up in the general area. It's still not very specific, but again, with the quest marker and then the hints, which I was not smart enough to listen to, the combination of the two, and it makes it pretty obvious where they're all located.
And if you only want a halfway cheat, there are some mods that make them easier to see. You know, like loot detector mods that'll make them glow red for you. So they're easier to find.
Nice. I love that glowing one. I've only taken that on one or two different characters, but the that perk that lets you see junk that you're searching for highlighted, I love that perk. For all those builders out there who like to search for specific stuff.
I think it's Scrapper level 2, I think.
Why don't they combine Vans and that perk together? Just call it good.
You mean to make Vans useful? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we found our cappies. We took a trip to the stars. Let's talk.
We ran around and looked for money so that we could not have to kill the robot.
Don't have to kill the robot. Okay, Ray. And the thing was, anyway, I decided to hop up and see if there's another way into the mansion because I didn't have enough money and I didn't want to fast travel back to my settlement because that would entail going back to the Commonwealth and yada yada. So I decided to hop up top of the building, and you get some really nice views of the Nuka World general area if you hop up there to the top of the spires up there on top of the mansion.
Yep.
But there's a door there, and I was like, "Oh, sweet, a door here. Let me bust into it." And I thought, "Oh, even if it's a master lock, maybe I can somehow get." I was like, "Well, there's no way I'm going to get Kate up here." So shit, I don't know. Even if it's master lock, I wouldn't get. And I checked it, and it wasn't even master lock. It was like you had to have a specific named key, like the mansion key or something. So I couldn't get in that way. So I went back down, and on my way back down, Ray. Hopping down the power armor.
Found a stack of cash.
No, I slammed down on the ground super hard, right next to the ticket robot.
Oh, and he went aggro on you, and you what?
And then I killed him.
That is awesome.
Then I didn't have to go back because he had the key on him. It was very nice. I was inadvertent killing. Gosh. So another chock full of references location here. The Grantchester Mystery Mansion. This is another California location, right? Sarah and
this is right around the corner from Sarah's house.
It is. I drive by it every day.
Okay, you know this. So give me a general background. What is this a reference to?
The Winchester Mystery House.
And what is that?
So, Sarah Winchester was married to the guy that created the Winchester rifle. I don't know his actual name. I know her name because she's crazy. And she believed that she was being haunted by all the ghosts of anybody that's ever been killed by a Winchester rifle. And so she built this house full of all kinds of crazy, like, there are stairs that lead to nowhere. There are doors that don't open. There's walls that are doors that you don't know about. It's just this crazy house that they're still uncovering these hidden nooks and crannies that she built that are supposed to confuse the spirits that were haunting her. And it sounds super, super cool. You only need to go once.
Yeah. Have you been there, Sarah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I went once, so like 10 years ago. It was cool.
Yeah.
I kept the brochure, but they don't let you in a lot of the house.
No, and they actually have been opening up more spots, but like, you know, it's cool, but it's not like anything crazy.
It sounds like a fun house or like Willy Wonka's factory or something.
It's not even really as fun as that. It's just it's a cool old house. If you're into cool old houses, I would recommend, like, if you're gonna go, do like a nighttime candle lit tour or do a Halloween one, and I think they'll make it more interesting for you. But just like a normal everyday tour, it's just like a cool old house, and you see some cool stuff, but it's not anything you'd pay twice for, you know?
Is there an upside down room?
No.
Damn.
There's no cool rooms that you get to float to the top and then you burp to get down, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That they've found yet.
Fizzy lifting drinks.
There you go. Exactly.
Everybody loves fizzy lifting drinks.
Yeah.
You broke the rules, Sarah. And you know what that means? Nothing!
I was gonna say Oompa Loompas are gonna come out and sing about me, probably. I'm gonna get rolled away like a giant
They're
blueberry.
going to carry you off and you will be dead and gone forever. I can't believe he wasn't arrested for killing all those children.
Yeah, can we talk about how dark of a movie that kind of is?
Yeah, all of Roald Dahl's stuff, man.
Yeah, Roald Dahl's the best.
Okay. Speaking of, this is a great time of year, by the way, to be playing the Grantchester Mystery Mansion. Fun little haunted house thing here. So we got the one side of this reference here is like you were saying, the Winchester Mystery Mansion. Okay, that's the setting, that's the location.
Mm-hmm.
Now the events within the location. Sarah, did you actually play the quest?
Well, no, I got murdered by robots for 3 days. By the way, I did make it through the robots. I have, in this time that I've talked to you, made it through Star Tours, because that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
I have cleared the Assaultron from the junk yard, and I'm currently restoring power. So I'm making it. I'm making it.
Are you gonna kill him?
Who, the Assaultron?
No, the restoring power. Are you?
Oh no! I'm restoring power for the spaceship.
Yeah. Are you gonna put in 4 Star Cores or 3?
Oh, I only put in 3.
You let him live. Well, you get you get the alien blaster that way.
Oh, do I? Oh, see, was I listening to you guys? Halfway. So yes.
Well, you did good, kid.
Thanks.
The other half of this reference for the Grantchester Mystery Mansion is another event taking place in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. A famous murder mystery. Did she do it? I believe this is also, I didn't actually look it up, but I assume this has got to be a Lizzie Borden reference too, correct?
Ooh, creepy.
I was thinking that as I was going through it.
The character is Lucy, which is damn close to Lizzie. And there's First, okay, I guess someone should remind us what the Lizzie Borden. Jess, do you know anything about that? The events of Lizzie Borden, what happened with her?
I do not know.
I don't really know everything in detail, but Lizzie's parents were brutally murdered, and it is assumed that Lizzie did it, but she was acquitted of the murders. But I think it's still pretty widely assumed, sort of like in the OJ case. It's pretty much assumed that they were guilty.
Well, and I think they committed her anyway.
Oh, did they? I thought she was acquitted. Okay, so she was taken in.
She was acquitted, but yeah, I think she was deemed insane.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys obviously know more. What is there? What more reference of the Borden case do we find within the mansion? There's all sorts of crazy plaques and stuff when you walk through this place. There's like I mentioned before, there's the upside down room, and like Sarah mentioned with the Winchester mansion, there's stairways to walls, there's doorways, you open doors that open to brick walls that say nothing, or there's actually a festive one that has a pumpkin decoration that says boo.
Yeah.
Thought that was nice.
It's nicer than the Fallout 3 one.
What's that?
Fuck you.
Ooh.
There's oh wait, it wasn't fuck you. There's one that says you look nice today. Have you guys found that one?
I like that one.
I think it's got that weird red skull thing underneath it too. Might over be by Fort Hagen if I remember right. Could be wrong. I think as you open the door, it spawns one of those big sentry bots if I remember right. I don't know. I could be wrong. So we're talking about the Lizzie Borden case. As you walk through here, there's all sorts of plaques on the walls, and they say, "Oh God, there's yet another reference here, which is also a Disney reference." Sarah, as you go into this the location, there's sort of like a narrator voice that comes on because this is a guided tour, and it is evidently, I haven't been in many years, but evidently the voice is almost a perfect spoof of the Haunted Mansion section of
awesome. I love the Haunted Mansion. Minus the elevator.
The Ghost House, yeah. Ghost House and Haunted Mansion or whatever.
Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, so it's been a long time, but it's evidently a spoof of that too. So it's the Ghost House, Lizzie Borden, and the Winchester Mystery Mansion all rolled up into one, which is really fun.
That's awesome. I
Now,
can't wait to check it out.
it's fun. Ray, did you have fun walking around in here? What did you do?
Yeah, so we just kind of walked through. I had Gage with me at this point.
Does he have like Nick to Acadia? Does Gage have like character specific stuff relating to Nuka World that he says?
Not too much. I mean, he mostly just talks about, being the overboss.
And what the fuck are you doing with a follower?
It just I was running out of storage space. You
needed someone to get your 45-62. What is that ammo?
Yeah, the 4570.
The 4570. You had looked that up. We couldn't remember last week. So you had Gage with you.
Yep.
What was he saying?
Nothing notable. He did like it when I killed the ticket taker, though.
Oh yeah. I was watching someone's playthrough video of it, and Gage was making semi-derogatory comments about the attraction, saying like, "Is this supposed to be scary? People find this frightening?" So what else did we find in the house? There's the upside down room. The plaques in each room that you go through, what you hear the narrator say, they go over horrible bouts of abuse that Lucy had endured. I don't remember any off the top of my head. There's her father had all sorts of abuse. Mother as well. Here's some plaques. I think the first room here. Morticia Grantchester ordered the stairway to nowhere built in an effort to confuse the evil spirits possessing her daughter Lucy. That was in the first room where you see all the stairways to nothing and the doors that open to nowhere. Another, throughout the mansion, you'll find doors like this one that open to blank walls and attempt to confuse the spirits possessing Lucy, the Grantchester's daughter. And the next, a portrait of Morticia Grantchester. Photographs suggest that the artist took many liberties to make her look more youthful and attractive. Rude. The next, throughout her short life, Lucy was fascinated with fire. She liked to throw insects into flames and watch them burn. After creating this upside-down room, the Grantchesters stopped receiving visitors. Most of their high society friends had begun to shun them away. The Grantchesters had trouble keeping staff, especially cooks, once Lucy was old enough to roam the mansion. The longest-serving cook was Granny Ratchet, whom they hired away from a prison. She quit after 5 months, declaring Lucy to be Satan's spawn. When the curators investigated this room, they found a variety of hidden speakers, tripwires, fog machines, and other devices clearly used to stage false seances. After the gruesome murder of Lucy's parents, the police confiscated dozens of items from this room. There were assorted knives, makeshift weapons, animal bones, and toxic substances. The strangest of all was a journal written in some sort of code that was never deciphered. Unfortunately, all of those items remain in police evidence lockers to this day. Creepy.
Well, so the story that they tell about her killing her father,
Ooh.
and with a pair of scissors.
Yeah, tell us.
And so the police asked her, so if it was an accident and that your father fell on the scissors, how did he come to have all of his fingers cut off? And she told them that she did that so that he wouldn't be able to hold the cane and beat her anymore.
Yeah, he was beating her with a cane. And so she grabbed the scissors, but she didn't stab him, Ray. She didn't kill him. He just happened to fall on the scissors right through his eye into his brain.
Right.
And which means he would have already been dead, which means she would have had to cut his fingers off while he was alive before? Because he wouldn't grab his cane otherwise. Weird.
Indeed.
Yeah, so she obviously cut him off after he was dead because she's a psycho or something. How did Mom die?
Didn't she hang herself?
I'm forgetting. Anybody remember? Freighter, Jess, Sarah? Sarah, you haven't played it yet.
I don't remember.
I think she was killed, by the daughter again too. I think there was something about the daughter's doll attacking her, becoming possessed. That was the daughter's story.
Right.
She stuffed her doll in her mouth and suffocated her or something, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's even creepier.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't give the doll a kiss goodnight.
Oh,
So she
man. Are they
suffocated
just,
her with
oh.
it. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
I'm on board until there's a creepy doll, man.
Crazy.
So you go through the place. There's all kinds of traps. There's a bunch of robots.
Are the robots? Are the robots automatically set to go aggro on you, Ray, or is it just because I killed the ticket taker? Do you know?
They're set to go aggro.
Okay, they're
Because you read that when you get to the final terminal.
okay. The final terminal. Oh, it's by that guy. Okay, yeah. Who is that guy?
So he is an ex-gunner that abandoned his post at the
turnpike or something.
Yeah, the turnpike tunnels, and made his way to this area of Nuka World and had set himself up in this mansion. And so he set up a bunch of traps and programmed the robots to attack anybody that came in. And he was collecting their loot and selling it at the Nuka World market. Right up until you kill them. But when you read his terminal, so he talks about, how he's relieved to get away from the gunners and how, this whole place has worked out really well for him and everything. And then the very last one, he keeps hearing a young girl laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And assumes that it's the Assaultron.
Yeah, he's like, one of the robots is malfunctioning. I keep hearing a little girl laugh. So it must be one of the Assaultrons. Because it's a little girl.
Yeah, it seems like he got more and more paranoid
Yeah.
the longer he was there, which makes sense. Because, I mean, he sets everything up to attack you. I like the way that you have all the spookiness of the horror story and the weirdness of that. And then there's a justification in the story for why you're also being attacked by robots and such. So it all comes together.
So this guy basically went from being a gunner and turned himself into a raider.
Yep.
Very nice. What else do we know? Do we need to get anything out of here? Was there a Scav There was a Scav magazine or something, probably, right?
Yep. Issue number 4.
What do these Scav magazines do for you? Forget.
Various things.
I have one and scrolling.
Are those the only magazines you find in Nuka World? You only find one kind of magazine. They're all Scavs, and there's 5 issues. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the one you find in the Galactic Zone is you get better chance of passing speech checks.
Oh, charisma.
I got that one.
I have 2 others here. One's plus 5% explosive damage.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
one is plus 25% knife damage.
Ooh, that's nice. Go get who's he? What's it? The artist guy. Look at his knife.
Combat knife and switchblade, it says. So, what kind of blade is Pickman's one? Is that a combat knife?
That's a switchblade, isn't it? Or no, that's a combat knife.
Yep, it's a combat knife.
So that'd work nicely. Get all your melee stuff and the sneak stuff together. Ooh, that'd work out well. So Zachariah was the gunner's name. Yep. There was the Grantchester Mystery Mansion. Anything else we need to grab in there? One thing I found useful. He was obviously some sort of robotics guy because there's a bunch of robots around and tools and lots of like boxes of screws and biosensors and stuff like that. Lots of good stuff up in that up in the stuff. Oh, if you actually there's a master lock door in his room that lets you go up to the attic. And you find out some information probably from the terminal, I'm assuming. That said 10 years after the death, was it 10 years? I don't even remember exactly the timing. Sorry about that. But sometime after the death of Lucy was committed after killing her parents, the psych ward or whatnot. And then she escaped and came back home and was hiding out for a while, but was eventually found dead after she hung herself in the attic. Now, when I went up into there, there was a room, which I assume was the room, was because there was like a weird ring of black smoke floating out of the floor towards the ceiling. Anybody else notice that?
Yeah, I saw that too.
I assume that's like the spot where she did the deed. Yeesh.
But I had a weird glitch when I went in there, because I did it while we were on the podcast. Sorry. And I wasn't paying attention to the subtitles, so I reloaded my autosave and it glitched. And there was a little girl just standing at the top of the stairs.
Ooh, creepy. Looking at you.
And the narrator didn't come on, so I was just stuck in that room. I couldn't get out, but there was just that girl at the top of the stairs standing there,
just mocking you.
Nope.
Yeah, so I'm not very fast, and I evidently didn't see it. But if you're paying attention and you're walking through this quest, through the whole quest, as you turn a corner, evidently you can see the little girl turning corners and running away. You can never get a really good glimpse of her, but you can just see her running away around corners the whole time. I didn't really even see her until I got to the end. But more observant people, did you guys see her while you were running through?
Yeah, definitely. On the balcony when you enter the first room, stuff like that. She's always around corners and in hallways.
I think the wiki, and one of the notes in the wiki said that if you have the jetpack before you go in, you can boost up to the top of the building and see her in one of the windows or something. That can't be right. They wouldn't let you do that. I don't know. Maybe I misread that. But yeah, so you saw her running around the building. That's super creepy. I have the attachment to my visor on my power armor helmet that highlights everything sort of red. So she was highlighted in my thing. So I thought that was cool. She doesn't look like a ghost. She looks like a living being to me. But up in the attic there is the last I saw her. I saw her run off to the left really quickly, so I ran and opened that door as quickly as I could, and surprise, surprise, what do I find when I open that door? There's a brick wall. You can't go through. She's gone, and that's the last time I saw her. Creepy little girl. Abused by her parents, killed them, took her own life after she went back home. Horribly sad story. Kind of appropriate for the Halloween season, though. Happy Halloween, everybody.
This is Fallout Feed. This is Fallout Feed.
Yay!
Oh, you was that 3? You a fan of Halloween? Was that 2 or 3? That the witch? That's the season of the witch one with all the masks, right?
What? That's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, I thought he was doing the mask thing from Halloween 3.
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch scary movies.
6 more days till Halloween.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, I was
He's
confused.
got munchkins. Of course, he's singing Nightmare Before Christmas. He's singing all year long.
What's this? What's this? There's something in the air.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. We watched that the other night. Perfect. Perfect
So good.
movie. So good. All right. What else do we need to mention about the Grantchester Mystery Mansion, guys? There's not really a quest, is there? So you don't really get XP. Are there's caps or anything? Is there a big roll of fucking Nuka World tickets or anything? What's in there? There's a Scav magazine, did someone say?
Yep. Speaking of tickets, there are some tickets outside by the robot on the ground. So you didn't have to go through all that stuff, too.
Wait, you can pay with tickets?
With the robot when you're trying to get in, I think you can get a ticket to the mansion just on the ground there.
Yeah, I saw them after I shot it in the head.
No.
There's an entry ticket for the attraction just sitting on the ground?
Sure
3
thing.
of them. Yeah.
And Zachariah talks about that in his terminal. He says that he throws them on the ground, to entice people to, to come in because they think they're getting in for free.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. What else is in that terminal that I missed?
That was about it.
You could control. It's had controls for the ticket taker robot. I don't know what they did though.
Oh, could you turn them off or whatever?
I probably should have clicked on it. Really.
Too late by then.
Yeah, he was probably already dead for most of us.
Yeah, but they give you so many other options, and I just went through it way too quickly to notice. Great. All right. I think that covers our quest. Anything else you guys wanted to mention about the quest this evening? There were
Not so much about the.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not so much about the quest. I just want a moment of appreciation for our beautiful magic boy Oswald the Outrageous.
Oswald, yeah, I love his garb.
Yeah, he's a tortured soul, isn't he? Feel bad for him.
He kind of has a tragic love story, right?
Yeah, that's the one. The glowing one, the beautiful magic boy, he's a magician.
Love his hat.
Yeah, I'm rocking that right now.
Nice, it's a good one.
Yeah, that was a fun fight too. That was there aren't too many boss fights that are different, and he was definitely different.
Yeah, it was one that I didn't understand how to do it at first. I had to do it for a few times to understand kind of what the good way to fight him would be, right? Doesn't he sort of like trans-apparate all over the place and stuff?
Yeah, I was looking for his corpse, but he went away in a puff of smoke. And I wanted to slap him. There was a moment you go down in the tunnels and turn off all that radiation. You come back out. He goes, "Oh no, you've turned off my defenses." I'll just flick them back on again.
Oh, that asshole.
If I had faster loading screens, I would have gone straight back down and turned it back off and see how long it would have lasted. But I don't have the patience for that.
No, that's great. Thanks for bringing that up. Oh, that's a good point. Thanks for doing that, Mark. Is there any other things that are really cool to do in Nuka World while you're there that we should mention? Because this is our vacation trip over here. This is our last time we're coming to Nuka World. We got a couple of fun quests, but is there anything better? Like, what happens if you like finish the main quest of Nuka World, and like, don't you get the garage settlement and stuff?
Yeah, you unlock the red rocket. Because before that, it's in from Nuka World.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You get
the behind the glass in the star cores.
Yep. Got to collect all the star cores to pop open the elevator to get the XO1.
Because that's the one where you need all 35 of them.
And that is just crazy as shit.
I'd like to mention as well the in the Fizz Top Mountain. I know you quickly mentioned just before the show, the podcast We're Alive. If you find Dixie's, I think, was it Dixie's Souvenir, the holotapes? She reminds me a lot of Scratch from We're Alive.
Oh, nice. I haven't listened to that in a long time. That's a fun narrative podcast. We're Alive.
Oh, those disciples are horrible. I don't know how I feel about them.
Yeah, we got the operators who are, carnies, I guess. The pack, who tended the animals, I'm assuming. And those other guys you like.
Does anything happen if you wear the barbarian costume while you talk to Cedo?
Oh God, that'd be perfect. I don't know. I'm in power armor. I should hop out and say what's up. Who's wearing their leopard skin better, buddy? Got my Grognak costume on. Yeah, great. Yeah, close down Nuka World. Now, there were a couple other things I wanted to mention on the show before we sign off tonight. There was some lore BS that was coming up recently with the Brotherhood of Steel, and someone saying, "Oh, this is lore breaking. The whatever you just said with the Brotherhood, and there's no way that Appalachia and yada yada yada." Can someone fill me in what the hell is going on with this?
Oh, holy muffins. Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, or some people have made it a big deal. Honestly, I really like Bethesda's stopgap ideas. And there's that huge period there where it makes sense that the Brotherhood in that time could have branched out, sent expeditions. I mean, a lot of the lore people talk about where they say they were totally isolated for so long. It was 100, 200 years ago. So in those kind of centuries, history can be rewritten. We might have lost records.
Interesting. So, step back even further, one more step. What did Bethesda do that made them say, "Hey, wait a second, that isn't lore friendly"? What was their announcement with the Brotherhood?
Well, we know
Just that they were there.
Yes, just that they were there is what started it, and that got some people upset. So they had a tweet a couple days ago, kind of in response, where they explained how when Maxon got set up in the original Brotherhood facility, how he had gotten access to technology and satellites, and with that they were able to expand their reach and reach out to kind of awaken other collectives. They didn't get into it deep; it was only like 2 or 3 sentences. But it was enough that some people still thought that wasn't a good explanation. But it makes sense to me. 20 years after the war, certainly when they still, the people who are alive still remember the old world. So they could expand. They knew where Chicago was. They knew where DC was. Yeah. Some technology hadn't broken down yet. So it makes sense that with contacting via satellite and stuff, they could spread out. But some people are against that because the lore does say they were very isolationist and in the same location.
November, okay. Fallout tweets at Fallout tweets. November 2077, a month after the Great War, Army Captain Roger Maxon arrived with survivors at the Californian bunker of Lost Hills. There, he formed the Brotherhood of Steel, who used a functioning satellite to extend their reach across America, all the way to Appalachia.
Appalachia and beyond.
To Appalachia and beyond. Yeah, that's how they explained that away. So did that stifle anyone? Did anyone buy that BS? That satellite? Okay, so now we have it all explained. Does that shut anybody up?
It's good enough for some, not for others. People who are truly upset, as you can tell, are still unhappy. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if they're upset about it, that is not gonna explain anything away, I don't think. So that there was a little bit of drama, which I thought was kind of fun this week. Kind of blew up again this week because they dropped a tweet the other day about it.
The people that are upset are usually the same kind of people that think the 2 ISO games are the only real Fallout games.
Yeah. I love those guys. I want to hang out with them. They seem really fun.
Yeah.
Yepers, they kind of fill in the blanks, so they assume that what they believed have happened based on those games is the only thing that could have happened. But if there's like a 50, 60-year gap, a lot of things could have happened, so I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, and Appalachia wasn't destroyed by any bombs. You guys saw that in your playthrough. How can you just briefly describe the differences between going through a place that was destroyed by the bombs and Appalachia was still pretty much intact, sort of?
The buildings are a bit run down, but it's certainly a lot prettier than the other games. There's lots of plant life around, which you wouldn't see in the other games.
Yeah, nice foliage. Very nice. Well, there was one other thing that popped up the other day. Maybe this was today even. Are there going to be any raiders in Fallout 76?
I think that's what the chard is there for.
Who are the charred?
They're
Scorched?
scorched. That's right. Yeah,
Who are the scorched?
they're basically just glorified ghouls.
They're ghouls that still have enough mental capacity to be able to use weapons, if I remember right, according to the videos, right?
Yeah, they definitely use weapons.
Do they talk?
I think they mumble things.
Okay. Well, Fallout dropped this the other day. Maybe today, like I mentioned. Sorry, I keep saying that. Ruthless, selfish, bloodthirsty. Since the day the bombs dropped, raiders have been the scourge of the wasteland. In Appalachia, Rose is their enigmatic leader. But who is she? And what does she hope to gain as she watches the carnage from her roost on top of the world? Hashtag Fallout 76. What the fuck? Are the raiders?
No, that is a hint. Okay, people have heard a little bit about it. Those might be characters. No, he lives at the top of the world body. It's there. I'll send you. We don't know any more than that.
Is anybody else having trouble hearing Jess all of a sudden?
I was just about to say something there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
Sorry, Jess. I didn't hear anything you said just then. I could hear little mumblings in the background.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah.
I think I knocked my mic off. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Actually, there was a comment you said before that I didn't really hear. I thought that it was maybe a loop coming back on me, but now I realize what was happening. Your mic was mic'd off. So there was the last comment that you said too. We didn't hear you either. What did you say before? Do you remember?
Okay, I know the thing about Rose I was just talking about. She, as far as we know, is a voice. You're only going to hear her over the radio so far from what people have seen. And she might live at the top of the world, that large attraction in the middle of the divide. So she leads the raiders, but you might not necessarily meet any raiders. You just know her as a disembodied voice.
She's on a radio performing what sort of function?
Leader of the raiders, I guess. We don't know much else yet. The only few people made it near there to hear anything.
So they're kind of leaving the door open to include raiders at a later point if they want or something? What is the purpose of this?
That's actually a great idea. It could be a story hook. But as far as we know, there aren't any NPCs and they're sticking with that. So I don't know you'll ever meet her in person.
Can we use her quest to become raiders ourselves as a faction or something maybe then? Huh. Interesting. I'm intrigued by Rose. I'm intrigued by what this could be. Before we close off, Lee posted something, Ray. Did you happen to look through this? These people who are doing a cool sort of character planner generator? Did you take a look at that at all, Ray?
Yeah, I poked around with it a little bit.
Yeah. Nukes and Dragons. Sorry. Nukesanddragons.com / Fallout 76 / perks, and we'll get your cards there. I'll put the link in the show notes. What did you find when you played around with it, Ray?
So really, it just gives you a list of all of the perk cards that they know about so far.
Yeah, exactly.
And so playing around with it a little bit, I discovered that you don't really need to put a lot of points into strength in order to use perks because there's just not that many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But endurance, intelligence, and agility and charisma have a ton of good perks.
Now, oh, good Lord, charisma has a ton. Like how I'm just sort of clicking through and looking at this. Yeah, charisma has, it looks like almost 3 times perks of some other of them. That's crazy. This is a neat little thing. Again, nukesanddragons.com. Go find their Fallout 76 character generator or planner, more or less. It's not really a generator. It's not going to spit out a character for you. But it's like on Fallout before, I think we had 28 points that we could assign for our character generator. This one, you do not build your character first. Everything starts at 0. So you don't have that allotment screen where you build your character up. So it has 49 points that you get up to, but each special, again, like we mentioned before, has a max point of 15. So you'll get 50 points, basically, or 50 levels, where you'll get to level up and invest perks or points into your specials to get cards and such. How many is there going to be? Like, how does the card work? Like, what do you get? You boost up your level to. You're like, if I boost my strength up to 5, then I can lay 5 cards. Is that how that works?
Well, 5 points worth of cards, because you could have.
Oh, because there's multiple levels of each card too. So okay,
you can combine 2 cards to make a level 2 card. So now it needs 2 points to be able to be used.
But that doesn't.
But it gives you the next
count against
the next level of that card's. So it'll go from like 5% increase in melee to 10%.
Nice.
Like that.
Interesting. Well, we are about to hit the ground running, getting our character generator going. We're still figuring out how we're going to get that to work, but we've already got boots down on the graphics and everything. I'm interested in this Pip-Boy. Jess and Frater, you got to see. I mean, we got to see it in the preview or the game trailer. Did you guys like this Pip-Boy? Have we seen this particular design before?
Closest we had, I mean, it's based on the Pip-Boy 2000 from the earlier games, and then recently the Pip-Pad 2000 mod, kind of, but this is a Mark IV. So the dials and some of the stuff is on the other side, and it looks a little bit different. It's kind of between the two, really.
Are you good enough where you can tell me what model number is in each game?
No. I mean, I know the 3000 and the 2000, the basics, but no.
And the Pimp-Boy 2 billion.
Pip-Boy, yeah.
Oh, God, I forgot about that. What is that again?
It's blang.
Yeah, it's a mod in New Vegas you can get from the shop on the outskirts.
Gives you the gold-plated Pip-Boy.
Gold-plated Pip-Boy. Yeah, fancy schmancy. Good stuff. Very cool. Okay. Is there any other information that anybody would like to mention this evening?
All good.
On that note, I would like to tell everyone that we are officially going to announce that the ASA Podcasting 12-hour charity stream for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation will be happening this year on December 8th. That is a Saturday. We have yet to set the time. It'll probably be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. or 8 to 8, 10 to 10, something in that ballpark. We are just starting to get our schedule together and getting our planning going. But we have an official date. We've got it marked down. So everyone, please, if you can, just a sort of a reminder of this background event of any new listeners we have. My son has cystic fibrosis, and it's a rare genetic disease. Only 30,000 people in the United States are affected by it, but it is one of the most expensive diseases to treat in the United States. So we decided, it's not much, but we've decided to do what we can to help fight this horrible disease, which there is no cure for yet. We're searching for a cure, and we'll do our part a little bit at a time. I think last year, Ray, do you remember? I think we were close to $5,000 last year, if I remember right.
Yep, seems to be.
So we'll definitely try to get around that range, if not beat it again this year. I assume we're going to be doing little raffles and stuff. We always do fun little games, and you'll see the whole roster of all of our shows at ASA Podcasting. You'll see a Skyrim addict, and they are going to start a new season of the Skyrim Roundtable. So that'll be fun. They're going to do character draws and kick that off. And we will have... When is the official release date of the game? Is that November
14th.
November 14th. So that'll give us a few weeks to get used to Fallout 76 and sort of get our character generator together and get everything ready to go. It might even give us time for someone to play through the storyline all the way and be able to help us map out a roundtable schedule so we can play the main quest for Fallout 76. So this is going to be fun. The charity stream happening on the 28th, but not 28th, sorry, on December 8th. I'm hoping that we'll have everything together so the Fallout feed can start off our season 7 of the Fallout Roundtable, where we will draw our characters live during the charity stream for Fallout 76. Hopefully we can get everything mapped out and get everything ready to roll. I think that'll be really fun. Also,
I'm still hoping for crossplay. Any PS4 players? When me and Rebecca need you to come forward.
Carrie, I know she's a PS4 player. Sherry's a PS4 player.
I've got enough for a squad.
Sarah has a PS4, but she's telling you to fuck right off.
Yeah, I can't play my PS4 in my gaming bed. I mean, I can, but
I'm sure you could figure it out.
actually, I was playing it tonight in my gaming bed, but I also had to turn it off because my husband wanted to play. So
Sarah's mom plays Fallout, you guys.
she does. She's pretty good.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if that was too personal to reveal, but
No.
I just thought that was awesome. Is
I'm
there any way we can trick your mom into coming on the show?
I'll ask her how she feels about it.
That's hilarious.
She's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie, you guys.
You said she's a big Skyrim addict.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
That's fun. That's really cool. What you think about you doing a podcast?
I'm pretty nerdy.
Yeah. You told your yoga friends yet?
My yoga friends.
Your exercise friends? Your healthy people?
Some of them know, some of them don't. Who have you told recently, Andrew?
No one. No one knows. I haven't told anyone at work. I don't want those people
Raider?
looking into my life.
Raider, how many of your friends know you're on a podcast?
None. Not one. I think most of my friends aren't really into these kind of games, so I share none of it with them. My family knows, and that's it.
The shame.
It's just our little secret. It's like I just,
Ray, does your wife bug you about it?
No, because she's too busy booting people out of her game.
Out of her game. She's too busy gaming herself.
Yeah.
She's a
What does she
moderator
play?
in the game group.
She plays some online card game,
Wow. Okay.
and
Card,
they're
like Magic card game or like
no, just like playing cards.
okay.
But yeah, so it's a team thing, and so they're constantly recruiting new people and kicking people off. So
Wow.
if you don't get your quests done, you're out.
That's hardcore.
Yeah.
We'll just start doing that for the round table.
I'd be in trouble.
Don't get the quest done, you're out.
Oh man.
Right on.
Yeah. There's a few of the Dragon Con regulars at the office that know I'm on a podcast.
Ooh.
Mm.
Anybody at your office know, Ray?
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 people.
Your golf, non-golf buddies?
Yeah.
Great. Well, guys, great show this evening. Fun time over in Nuka World. Got some glasses, some souvenir glasses, all sorts of fun stuff over here. Nice visit. I took all of my fancy new flavors of Nuka Cola and took them over to Buddy and stuck them inside in Buddy's belly. And I'm gonna hopefully come back to lots of ice cold like Nuka Victory and Nuka have what have you. I don't know. Did anybody bother like collecting the recipes or anything like that? It's all sorts of stuff I've never done in Nuka World still. Like you get all sorts of achievements for like making all of the different flavors and mixing them together and getting all the different formulas and lots of stuff I still haven't done. Still lots of stuff we can dig into with Fallout 4. We do have a new episode coming up. Next week will be feedback for the stuff we talked about this evening. But coming up on the show, we will be going through... Where are we going next, guys? I don't even remember.
The UFO crash site.
Oh, that's next. Okay, so we got the alien blaster. The
Federal Surveillance Center.
Whoa, Ray! You know what I'm realizing? That's gonna be the last batch of quests.
Yep.
Whoa.
That's gonna be episode 9, the last batch of quests for this season, and then we're gonna be hopping into Fallout 76. So, gosh, that's gonna be great. In sheep's clothing, and I have written after here, optional, requires the completion of the main quest. I think that's a Brotherhood of Steel. No, this next one. Sentinel site is best when visited during Liberty Reprimed. The Federal Surveillance Center KB12. The UFO crash site. That's a bunch of weird locations. I'm not going to get to In Sheep's Clothing because I'm definitely not going to finish the main quest. So I don't know.
I haven't even started the main quest.
Yeah, I don't know if so I'm definitely not going to be doing that. Sarah, I don't know. You have your old character loaded. Have you finished the main quest with your old character? Right? Have you done In Sheep's Clothing that you know?
I have, because I remember the name of the quest, but I couldn't tell you what the quest is about.
Yeah, I have no idea. So
it's the Mayor McDonough quest.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yes, that's great. If any of our play along people and our listeners out there, if they want to call in, send us a voice memo with their experiences about In Sheep's Clothing, we'll go ahead and do some feedback about that too. Since I'm not going to do it, Ray's not going to do it. We've done it in the past, but if anyone is doing it right now and it's fresh in their minds, please send us in feedback a week early for that one so we can go ahead and play that and talk about that. Like I mentioned, the Sentinel site. I really like the Sentinel site. You can do it without the quest Liberty Reprimed, but it's better played when you do the quest Liberty Reprimed. Federal Surveillance Center KB12. I don't even remember what that is off the top of my head.
That's that underground site with all the synths in it.
Is that off to the southwest? Sort of.
It's in the glowing sea.
North of the cave.
Yeah, it's right on the edge of the glowing sea.
Oh, it's the cabin. Oh, there's a cabin with a hatch in the floor. Okay. Yep. Yeah. That is a fun location. Good deal. All right. Those are the quests for next time. But next week, we'll be going over, like I mentioned, the quests that we covered in this week's show. So looking forward to everyone's feedback out there. It's been a great season. Lots of people still hanging in there. We always remark how usually by the end of the season, we've only got a couple people who have held on. But it's been great this season. We still have a very... very solid, dedicated batch of people sending in stuff. So please keep up the work, guys. You've only got this batch and then one more batch of feedback, and you can call yourselves champions. Champions of the Roundtable. Wonderful show this evening, guys. I'd like to thank everyone for joining me this evening. Sarah, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Ray, as always, sir.
A pleasure.
Mark, thank you. 2 weeks in a row. Thanks for coming back.
Good luck at getting rid of me now.
Jess, first time, all-star.
First time, good times.
Thanks for coming on. And Frater, welcome back, sir. Thanks a lot for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, the Skyrimatic Podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.